to our guest speaker for today, and to the OIC Program Director of the College of Teacher Education, and most especially to our graduating, hopefully, students of Ramon Magsaysay Memorial Colleges. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. This is the second episode for our FS webinar series. To officially start our program, let us start with the presentation of our prayer, to be followed by the national anthem, South Cotabato hymn, Coronadal hymn, and our MMC hymn.
Amang nasa langit, papuri sa Panginoon, ngalan mo itataas salamat, Panginoon, sa iyong kabutihan, sa pag-ibig sa amin, sa apoy ng kasalanan, pagkawarin mo kami sa aming mga at nang maging karapat-dapat kami sa bigyan mo kami ng sapat na biyaya mula sa lupa at sa dagat, mula sa timog at kanluran, hilaga at silangan, ito'y aming gusto. Sa iyo may kapal, ang mga sa langit, papuri, papuri sa iyo. Walang pag-ibig para sa silangan, alak ng puso, sa ibig mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, di ka lang mag-ibig, sa manlulupit, di ka kasisig. Sa lahat ng sa langit mo parang, ang inatang kuda, ang usok ng kayang minamaan. Ang usok ng pagkawang mo'y nakuhay na yan, ang bituin na taas ng kaya. Ang may matinig, lupa ng kalan, ang maray pasiglang ay langit sa piling mo. Ang biligaya
Thank you very much. Now, once again, to our guest speaker for today, Sir Nathaniel Bangoc, to the OIC Program Director of the College of Teacher Education, Ma'am Constance Partin, and to all our virtual audience for today for the episode 2 of our FS webinar series entitled Learning Delivery Modality of the Department of Education. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I am Andrea Meiji de Langon, and I will be the host and moderator for today's event. Now, before we proceed with our lessons that will be learned from our speaker, let us proceed first with the announcement of the winner from our Selfie Serie Episode 1. Ayan. Now, for the winners for the Selfie Serie Episode 1 with the hashtag ReadyFS Action, we have first Sir Francisco Rubia. Congratulations. And of course, as the winner for our Episode 1 Selfie Serie, together with our second winner, we have Ma'am Rosie Di Mayuga. Congratulations. The both of you will be receiving 300 pesos worth of load. And how to claim your prize, that will be announced later at the end part of our event. So congratulations again, Rubia and Di Mayuga, for winning our Episode 1 Selfie Serie. Now, just to reiterate the mechanics of our Selfie Serie, first, every webinar participant will take a selfie of himself or herself watching, listening, or taking notes during the event. Of course, to monitor that everybody is indeed participating with our webinar. He or she will upload a photo on Facebook with the official hashtag of the webinar episode. Now, the hashtag for this webinar episode will be presented later. Cut off of the reactions will be on the following day of the webinar, that's Saturday at 12 p.m. Highest reactions will be declared as the winner on the next webinar. And of course, one winner per institution will be declared and will receive a 300 pesos worth of load. It's very helpful, especially in this online learning times. Now, for our hashtag for the episode 2 of our selfie series, the learning delivery modality of DepEd, hashtag 2LDM. I repeat, the hashtag for our the episode 2 for our web series will be hashtag episode 2LDM. I would just like to remind our participants to make sure that your entry is set in public so that the moderators will see your entry. Now, of course, we will proceed with the official opening of our event, and that is through the welcome address of our BEd pre-service teacher, Ma'am Mecca Ella Hamilarin. Ma'am Pahartin, the video has no sound, Ma'am Pahartin.
Good morning, everyone. My pleasure to start this program by welcoming you all. I heartily introduce to you our guest speaker for today, Mr. Nathaniel Francisco Bangoc II, and also our very own Miss Constance P. Partin. It's wonderful to see such amazing gatherings or program like this. I also want to say thank you to my colleagues who participate in this kind of program. Vince Lombardo said, leaders are made, they are not born, they are made by hard effort, which is the price what all of us must pay. To achieve any goals is worthwhile. We are at the junction of a chapter closes and new one begins. Once again, thank you and have a blessed day, everyone.
Thank you very much, Ms. Hamilarin. And indeed, educators are not born, but they are thoroughly made. And of course, through the help of this FS webinar series, I hope that you will learn something that will help you in molding yourselves into becoming the educator that you wish to be in the future. Now, before we proceed with the introduction of our speaker and of course the content of our webinar for today, here are some rules to follow. First is, of course, to listen carefully to our speaker. You are welcome to take down notes. Remember, all the information that you will receive from our guest speaker for today will be very helpful when you become educators, professional teachers in the future. Second, if you have questions, feel free to comment it down in the comments section. It will be answered during the open forum. I'm sure that while you're listening, you will have concerns or questions that you would like to be clarified. Then you can ask that. Type that in the comments section, and it will be entertained later after the speaker is done with his content or his speech during our open forum. Now, let us have Ma'am Jonalyn Eslabon, also one of the BEd's pre-service teacher, for the introduction of our guest speaker.
Good morning, everyone. I am here to introduce our guest speaker. He was born on January 13, 1988 at Liberty, Tampakan, South Cotabato. He was graduated his elementary education at Tampakan Central Elementary School with high honors. He was graduated his secondary education at Tampakan National High School with third honorable mention. He graduated his degree in Bachelor of Elementary Education at Mindanao State University at General Santos City as cum laude. And also, he was a postgraduate degree in Master in Special Education in University Southeastern Philippines at Davao City and completed academic requirements leading to Doctor in Philosophy, Educational Management at Mindanao State University at General Santos City. And also, he was a certified National Learning Facilitator by National Educators Academy of the Philippines. And he was regional trainer of School Head Development Program at Senior High School Common Topic. And his current work as a regional supervisor, Quality Assurance Division of Department of Education, Region 12 Center at Coronadal City. Let's welcome our guest speaker, Sir Nathaniel Francisco Bangoc II.
Ayan. Thank you very much. Ma'am Dayan, Ma'am Andrea, nakikita na po ba ako, ma'am?
Yes po, sir.
Okay, so maganda pala ito, no? Kasi medyo marami po yung ating attendees, and at the same time, we will have an ample time for us to discuss the different learning modalities po for the Department of Education. So, halata masyado, no, na yung background ko nasa office po talaga ako. Sige. So, allow me to present my PowerPoint. Then, by the way po, Ma'am Andrea siguro and Ma'am Dayan, patulong ako mamaya because we will have an activities, pero nakita ko sa YouTube live natin, hindi ko pala makikita yung mga comments nila and suggestions. So, I will be asking your cooperation when it comes to our activities kasi kayo na lang po siguro mag-relay sa akin ng kanilang mga sagot so that meron naman tayong konting interaction within this particular webinar series. Okay? So, okay. Sige. Thank you, Ma'am Yan. Sige. Give me a minute for I will be presenting my... Okay. Ayan. Okay. Let's give it a time. Parang medyo po yung ating internet. Ayan. Ma'am Andrea, nakikita niyo na po ba yung slides ko, ma'am?
I can see the slides, sir, pero yung full screen version po is hindi.
Wala, paano ba ito? Actually,
share whole screen po yung gamitin niyo po, sir, na
yes,
share.
ma'am.
Your entire screen.
Actually, ma'am, on my laptop, it's already full screen. Pero I don't know what is happening. Okay, nag-move ba sa inyo, ma'am?
Wala po, sir. Ano po yung ginamit niyo na sharing option, sir? A window, a tab, or your entire screen?
Sige, ulitin ko na lang.
Sige pa. Your entire screen pa.
Sige. Sige. Ganito talaga yung sit back pag online. Sige, sige. Okay, let's do entire screen. Ito, ma'am. Nakikita na po ba, ma'am?
Wala po akong nakikita, sir. Ayan na po, ayan na po.
I will go back to my slide.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay na po.
How about this one, ma'am?
Yes po. Okay na po.
Okay. So, sa ulit po, no, magandang umaga po sa lahat. I would just like to say thank you to Ma'am Andrea Dulangan and of course sa ating program director kay Ma'am Diane Conces for giving me the opportunity to share the different learning modalities for the Department of Education. And later on, there will be, I know you will have questions, clarifications, but let us just park it and we will have those questions answered later on with our discussion. So our presentation is divided into 3 parts. The first part, we will discuss on the issues of the different learning modalities. And the second part, we will discuss what are these different modalities. And the third one is the emerging modality that is being encouraged nowadays in the Department of Education. So tatlo po yung parts na pag-uusapan po natin. Okay. Okay, Ma'am Andrea, could you see my slide moving, ma'am?
Yes po.
Okay. So I think the first activity should be or will be tell me more. Supposedly, I will be asking our participants to using the name of the colors. You could use the colors of the rainbow or the different colors. Pwede pong paki-describe supposedly in your chat box yung feeling nyo as a future teacher in this time of pandemic. Sige nga, tingnan nga natin. How will you describe in a particular color your feeling as a future teacher in this time of pandemic? Paano kaya to, Ma'am Andrea?
Naku, I have my answer, sir. Now that I
Okay.
am in the teaching profession.
Ayun, sige, sige. So, ibig sabihin kayo ni Ma'am Dayan ang tatanungin ko sa ating mga activities because I could not see the responses coming from our participants. So, using the name of the colors, will you please describe, Ma'am Andrea, para naging estudyante ko kayo, will you please describe po, ano po yung color na nag-represent sa inyo po as a teacher in this time of pandemic? Go ahead, ma'am.
Ito talagang color ng shirt ko, sir. Black.
Okay. Bakit po black?
Kasi under the pandemic, it sounds ideal, sir, no, that we are under online learning kasi it's physically speaking, it's not going to be very taxing. It's not hard kasi unlike nung face to face, I have to walk classroom to classroom and endure the heat, and then I am physically tired at the end of the day. Pero I realized after being exposed to this kind of type of learning that it's it's harder compared to the face-to-face setup kasi I had to endure a lot of problems not only on my end but on the end of my students as well. You experience many setbacks like intermittent and unstable internet connection. You have to, of course, understand the situation of each of the students and all that. Ako, napakahirap talaga, sir.
Okay, indeed. Actually, Ma'am Andrea, hindi lang po ikaw yung naka-experience niyan kasi a good thing because I know before po ako nag-stop po ng kuha talaga ng subject sa Ramon Magsaysay, I already know na pinalakasan po ng ating administration yung Wi-Fi connection sa school. So, ibig sabihin, hindi po nagkakaroon ng problema when it comes to internet connections. But for our learners, parang doon tayo nagkakaroon ng problema kasi nga andun sila sa mga bahay-bahay nila. Some are using piso Wi-Fi and some are using yung ano ba yun siya? Yung mobile data. And of course, mahirap talaga yun siya. Iba talaga yung nakalan ka or merong malakas na Wi-Fi sa bahay. And at the same time, mabilis po yung ating interaction kasi nga merong online gaya nito. Ako po nasa office ako, kayo nasa school. Yung iba naman natin, yung tagapakinig natin, andun sila sa mga bahay-bahay nila. But definitely, yung social interaction natin na i-impede. Hindi natin nakikita ano yung mga gesture, features ng ating mga estudyante. Kasi nga, wala tayong face-to-face interaction.
Yes.
Sige. Next, sino pang sasagot? May sumagot ba, Ma'am Andrea, na iba?
As I'm looking in the comment section, sir, no. Ito may sagot po ako. Mula kay Melencio Justin Balanag. His answer is green, I guess. And then meron dito kay Charwin D. Enriquez, yellow. As we all know, it is a light color. We should be the light of all our future students despite of all the struggles that we experience. Char.
Wow. Oh, see, those are what's this one? Those are the opposing ideas, but still, it is your feeling as a particular future teacher. So we could also use that one. Yellow, tama ba yun siya? It would serve as light. Kasi nga, it gives us the opportunity to be more, what's this one? Innovative when it comes to our teaching. Kaya ngayon, before, pwede tayong board lang tayo and chalk and board lang tayo or whiteboard tayo and at the same time PowerPoint, but now we could use different varieties of systems. Merong mga Canva and those things na pwede pa nating ma-improve yung sarili natin. And at the same time, we could be anywhere in the world with this particular type of learning. Okay? Ano pa yung isa, Ma'am Andrea?
Sabi naman ni Moises de la Cruz, sir, orange, sir, kasi during online learning, matetest talaga yung alertness and focus natin.
Ayun, sige. Hindi ko alam ano yung connection ni orange sa alertness at focus. But maganda yun siya na connection. Kasi tama nga naman, makikita nga natin talaga, masusubukan talaga yung ating alertness and focus kasi nga nasa bahay tayo, maraming interventions, marami tayong extracurricular activities na pwedeng gawin. So, pwede pong ganun. Saan ka nagatingin ng mga comments, Ma'am Andrea?
Yung sa sinend po ni Ma'am Conses na sir, na link.
Hindi ko siya makita dito. Okay, saan ba dito? Let me see.
Sige po. Meron pa pong isang entry, sir, from Ray Mark Gabor. Medyo dark. Kasi sabi niya, black, because I can't see my future in this type of learning.
Uy!
Okay. That was hard.
Okay. Sige. Nakakatakot naman na nasagot. But that is your feeling, and
Yes,
it's good thing that you could open it up, because as us, the educators with Ma'am Andrea and Ma'am Dayan, you could also see na yun yung mga nararamdaman ng mga teachers natin. They are
exactly.
glooming in the dark. Wala silang nakikita. Parang nahihirapan sila. Given nga po nga, even for our professional teachers, nangangapa, that's the term, nangangapa gani tayo in this time of pandemic. Siguro ang kuwan na natin dyan would be manalangin tayo sa Panginoon, and let's just take one step at a time.
Yes.
Matatapos dito, mag-e-end din itong pandemic, if not earlier but sooner than expected. And that, of course, I am an advocator also of vaccine. So dapat magpabakuna talaga tayo if ever the
Naku.
opportunity knocks in. Para naman po meron tayong double protection. So, meron pa ba
Yes.
tayong entry na iba, Ma'am Andrea?
Meron pa po. Melencio Justin Balanag III. Green symbolizes freshness, where almost everything is new. This style of learning is quite new to some of us, and it is our duty to adjust to this new setting and teach efficiently.
Okay,
Yan.
I would just like to highlight the word adjust. Tama talaga yun. In times of this pandemic, we need to be flexible, even for the teachers. Ako, honestly speaking, I'm not quite familiar when it comes to technology, but since this is the new normal, this is education, the new normal, so I really need to adapt with the O and the A, Ma'am Andrea, to this particular platform, kasi kailangan nga natin ito. And maganda din yan na students could also learn how to balance also yung personal life nila, and at the same time yung kanilang career as future educators in this time of pandemic, kasi nga wala silang friends na pwedeng pagtanungan na katabi, wala din silang friends na pwedeng makausap immediately, but through this time of pandemic, even though medyo malayo tayo, ang closeness pa din natin andoon. Na-experience mo din yan ba, Ma'am Andrea?
Nako sir, ilang beses sir, na even in this trying times na kailangan talagang magpakatatag, kasi kung hindi nako, ang mental breakdowns napaka often, it happens often. So, yun talaga ang dapat nating ingatan.
Okay, ganun talaga yan. Just like, let's always look at the brighter side. Matatapos din ito. And of course, palagi tayong manalangin, and at the same time, kung ano man yung pinaniniwalaan natin, anong tawag man sa Panginoon natin, tayo'y manalig lang po sa Kanya, kasi matatapos din ito. Okay, I think we're done with, actually, kwan lang ito, I'm just trying to check yung temperature check lang po ito ng ating participants, and sobrang galing ng ating participants. Pero kung normal kaya ito, Ma'am Dayan, ganito din yung mga sagot nila kung
Ay,
meron tayong face-to-face. But nonetheless, kasi during pag-online kasi, may panahon ka pa makapag-isip, makapag-reflect before you will give your particular response. Okay, so that's for our temperature check. Alam ko po na medyo ahead po pala yung mga students natin, and pantay, varied po yung feelings po ng ating mga participants. Merong positive sila with this type of pandemic or with this type of learning. Meron din namang medyo negative sila. Meron din namang flexible when it comes to the online learning. Sige po. Next, let's move on. So, education is right. We all know that, and we all know that every learner has the right to quality basic education, and it is reflected in our 1987 Philippine Constitution. But careful lang po tayo, kasi the right of all citizens to quality education at all levels. And let us always remember, basic education is a right. When you say, alright, meron ka pong karapatan na mag-demand sa ating government na tayo po'y papag-aralin. That's why, of course, unless you will go for a private school, That's why public school is a free education school. So ibig sabihin, when you say basic education, klaruhin ko lang po ha, when you say basic education, it would refer to education from kinder to senior high school. That's basic education. When you say college or tertiary education, or di kaya yung sa TESDA, yung mga vocational, iba naman po yun siya. It is considered a privilege already. Kasi alam po natin, hindi po lahat ng mga bata makakatuntong sa kolehiyo. That's why at this point, I would just like to say congratulations sa ating mga future teachers. Alam ko, excited na kayo and at the same time, naguguluhan. What will happen sa akin when I graduate from the four corners of Ramon Magsaysay, Both, and Jensen, and Marbel? But nonetheless po, pasalamatan po natin because you were given the opportunity na makapagtapos. Yung iba nga po, they have to struggle pa before they will receive yung tinatamasa nilang diploma. Okay. Next one. Nag-move po ba yung slide ko, Ma'am Andrea?
Yes po, sir.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Sige. Next is with this, the Department of Education. Ang pag-uusapan na natin ang limitations lang po ng ating pag-uusapan would be for the DepEd, for the kinder to senior high school, is the one who bears the responsibility in ensure that right is enjoyed by all Filipino learners. That's why when you go, ito yun siya, when you go to public, of course, to Department of Education, before you will have your entry in the Department of Education, ang dami nating trainings na pagdadaanan, even or professional development. Kasi nga, ini-ensure ng DepEd na yung mga teachers natin who will handle our learners are proficient, effective, and efficient when it comes to the teaching-learning process. So wag kayo mag-alala na, hindi ko man yan alam na ganito na mga strategies, because when you go to public schools, definitely there will be trainings. And of course, aligned with that, the private schools also have those types of training. Hindi naman yan nila pababayaan kasi parang before may pagkakaiba ang public and private, but now equal footing na sila. Even for the trainings for the Department of Education, kasali na din si private school. Kasi ito pala, hindi na mention kanina sa pag-introduce sa akin, ako pala I am a supervisor who is in charge of the private schools and the entire Region 12. Yung focus ko would be South Cotabato and Cotabato Province. And bakit magtanong kayo, bakit may kasaling supervisor in charge for private school? Kasi po, all kinder 2 po all kinder 2 up to senior high school are all DepEd schools, whether they are public or private. DepEd schools po yan sila. Ang kaibahan lang po ng public, ang government, ang taxes natin ang nagbabayad ng sweldo ng teachers, while in the private, of course, the tuition ng mga bata and yung mga iba-iba pang sources ang nagbabayad sa salary ng mga teachers. But from kinder to senior high school, public DepEd schools po yan siya lahat. So mali po yung notion na private school kami, hindi kami DepEd. DepEd po kayo, including the Senior High School of Ramon Magsaysay and the Integrated Basic Education Department of Ramon Magsaysay, Jensen. DepEd schools po yan sila. Okay? Sige. So, pag meron kayong questions, we will also have time for that. But let us move on. And according to DepEd Secretary Sir Madam Leonor Magtoles Briones, education must continue even in times of crisis, whether it may be a calamity, disaster, emergency, quarantine, or even war. And I would just like to emphasize on this one because last night at 9 in the evening, pasado na po ang budget ng Department of Education for our 2022 national budget. Okay. Sige. Okay, ito Ma'am Andrea. Let's give them a thinking time. You will have 5 minutes. Sige, tingnan daw natin if you're quite familiar already because these particular acronyms are being used already since last year because this is the second time na po or second school year na ini-implement po natin ang ating distance learning. Wala pong ibig sabihin, wala pong face-to-face. Sige, in your chat box, kasi hindi ko nakikita, kindly write your answer. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng mga acronyms na ito? I'll give you 5 minutes for that.
Sige po, sir. Ma'am Andre, ako po muna ngayon, sir. Hi, Sir Nate.
Hello, Ma'am Dayan. Sige.
Yeah po. I am still monitoring their answers on our group chat, but let us give them. Actually, sir, may nag-answer na isa. Sa number 1, sir, may answer tayo from Sir. Are we going to give already the answers?
Sige, let's give them mga few seconds para manamnam naman nila, ma'am. Kasi actually maganda sana ito kung face-to-face. But of course, kahit even the teachers, ma'am, yan na yung sa, eto ma'am yan, atin-atin naman to, kay dalawa naman tayo ngayon nag-uusap. But even some of the teachers are quite confused with these following acronyms. Pero alam nila ano ito, but they are quite confused.
Sige po. Actually, sir, may nakikita na akong, I don't know if this is the correct answer, but I think these are the correct answers for number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. Ang number 5 na lang hinahanap ko na answer. Pero parang paunti-unti nila sinasagutan, sir. Hindi siya yung isahang sagot.
Oh, wow, sige. Maganda yan. Kasi alam ko po, although hindi pa kayo in the actual teaching field, but I know lahat ito na, what's this one, familiar, maybe meron na kayong familiarity kasi nga, meron ako narinig when I do the on-site monitoring, ma'am, at KCES 1, Ma'am Dayan. Meron palang nag-forge pala ng partnership ang RMMC Gensan with the public schools in Coronadal City to serve as teaching readers. Tama ba yun siya?
Sir, that's not Gensan, that's RMMCMI.
Yes, RMMCMI kasi KCES 1 nga po kasi nang pumunta ako doon, ma'am, nakita ko meron pala kayong letter doon na mag-serve yung mga bata natin. And that's a good practice also for them to be exposed in this time of pandemic. Exposed po in terms sa teaching, learning po ng paano magbasa and at the same time, paano i-continue yung education doon nasa panahon tayo ng pandemic.
Yes, sir. Actually, ang mga students talaga ang nagsabi sa akin, sabi niya, ma'am, pwede po kami mag-serve. Sabi ko, hindi pa nga natin deployment. And they have told me, ma'am, volunteers lang po. And nag-release ako ng letter for them to be exposed for just, I think, 15 days for the Brigada Pagbasa as part of the program of Brigada Eskwela of the Department of Education. And actually, sir, that's a part also of our partnership of continuing what we have promised our students of quality basic education.
Yes, ma'am. Kaya nga po, I even interviewed a particular learner. Ang sabi niya po na mas, mas napadali po yung pagkatuto niya because meron daw siyang mga ate at kuya, which I know coming from Ramon Magsaysay MI, na sila yung nag-a-assist sa kanila. And I would like to commend the particular siguro of course yung mga bata and at the same time kayo po, Ma'am Dayan, kasi nga po you forge partnership in order for us to develop yung reading ng mga bata and at the same time na-i-expose din natin yung ating future teachers po natin sa real scenario on the field. Sige? So I think 5 minutes is done.
Yes po.
Okay, so let's have the answers. Okay,
Okay.
sinong nakakuha ng sagot?
Actually, sir, pa-isa-isa sila ng sagot, but ang sumagot ng 5, we have here, wait lang. May sumagot po ng 5.
Okay,
Ang
very
sagot
good.
niya na 5 is not that full, pero nandoon po yung answers. Sige
Okay.
po, isa-isahin natin, sir. Sa number 1, we have most essential learning competencies. Ang sumagot po is si Sir Jason Dave Salva. I know, we have Iris. Yes, Iris Asibar. Sabi niya, number 1 is most essential learning competencies. Number 2, we have here self-learning materials. Ang answer po ng iba, sir, dito sila sa M, nagkakamali. Self-learning modules.
Modules. Okay.
Modules, but nakuha po ni Miss Hazel Alvarez
Oh,
ang
wow.
tamang sagot, which is self-learning materials. For MDL, which is modular distance learning, wala po akong nakitang sagot. But for ODL, meron online distance learning.
Kasi ito yung pinapractice ng Ramon Magsaysay. So definitely,
Yes.
alam na alam to nila. And of course, yung TVA, RBI, parang wala kayo nito kasi nga, nasa city naman tayo.
Yes po. Moises de la Cruz for TV, RBI, sir, television, radio-based instruction. And we have also here Miss Maureen Calio for MDL, modular distance learning.
Ayan.
Pero
Okay.
mostly ng mali nila, sir, is sa SLM. Kasi answer talaga nila self-learning
Modules.
module.
Okay. Sige po. And I would just like to emphasize also in this particular number 1, the most essential learning competencies. Base po ito sa DepEd Order 12, series of 2020, which is adoption of basic education learning continuity plan for our Department of Education. Meron po kasi tayong sinusundan na competencies, alam po yan nila ng ating mga estudyante. Meron po tayong sinusundan na competencies from kinder to senior high school. And some of those competencies hindi masyadong nakaka-capture kasi nga because of different activities ng school. So ang nangyari, in times of pandemic, gumawa tayo ng MELC. Before this is Philippine PELC, Philippine Essential Learning Competencies, then nag-K-12 Learning Competencies tayo, then nagkaroon tayo ng pandemic, eto na yung MELC. So etong yung MELC, eto yung nagsisilbi nating Bible for the Department of Education. Lahat po, private and public, from kinder to senior high school, minerge po natin yung mga lessons po natin na, for example, in 1 week, merong 3 topics na pwede naman siya gawing 2 or isa mamdayan, mini-merge po natin kasi kinakalkal lang natin yung pinaka-essential lang muna kasi nga nasa times nasa panahon pa tayo ng pandemic. Okay. Then of course, the self-learning materials, ito naman yung mga modules na ginawa ng mga teachers na kung saan ito yung sinasagutan ng mga bata. And it's either it is divided into 2. We have 3 rather. We have the modular distance learning kung saan printed ang ginagamit ng mga bata. We also have online distance learning, of course, with the use of the internet and the TV RBI. Sir, saan dito nag-fall yung blended? When you say blended naman siya, it's either combination of the 2. Pwedeng si MDL plus ODL or si ODL plus si TV RBI. Or pwede din si MDL plus si TV RBI. Yun po yung blended. Kasi nga po, baka may magtanong, Sir, what would be the best modality to choose? The answer would always be depending on the capacity of the learners and of course, yung mag-assist sa kanya, which would be the parents. Parang nauna na ako sa discussion natin because later on, we will discuss ano yung magiging responsibility ng iba't ibang sektor when we do or when we implement the different learning modalities. So eto din, nagkaroon din tayo ng ano yun siya. Nagkaroon din tayo ng adjustment kasi nga sabi nila, sir, masyadong marami yung modules. Hindi makaya ng mga bata. So ano yung naging sagot ng DepEd? Of course, nagkaroon tayo ng adjustment dyan, naging flexible tayo, and we do offer this particular acronym. Sige daw kung sinong makakuha. Ano itong LAS? Sige. Ang LAS would be a modified self-learning materials. Sige, tingnan natin mamiyan kung merong makakuha ng tama sa definition ng LAS.
Sige po, I am checking the comment section, sir, for the answer. Mostly wala pa. May isa. I don't know if this is correct. From Kwenji. I don't know if I have pronounced the name right. Joy Kaligdog. Ang sabi niya, sir, learning activity sheets.
Okay. Sige, tingnan natin.
Sabi ni Miss Hazel Alvarez, same learning activity sheets, and also Mr. Jomar Cinco and Kia Marie Cortez, Glines Gumban,
Okay.
Venus Gumban,
Definitely, ma'am yan, makukuha nila ito, ma'am, kasi for the third and fourth quarter from the last school year po, from the self-learning materials, yung modular distance learning, nag-adapt tayo ng bagong process kasi nga parang although most essential learning competencies na yung binibigay natin, nagkaroon pa din tayo ng adjustment kasi nga hindi masyadong nakita natin na sa hindi face-to-face yung setting, so nagkaroon tayo ng learning activity sheets na kung saan within one particular paper or 2 pages of paper, andun na yung discussion and andun na yung sample and activity. Okay, very good. Ang gagaling ng mga estudyante natin, ma'am, yan.
Yes, po.
Sige po. Okay. So, anong ginawa ng Department of Education? So, the Department of Education, tapos na tayo sa thinking time natin na subtask and do a budget of work. Kaya nagkaroon tayo ng most essential learning competencies on the different learning areas. So, the different learning areas would be the different disciplines or subject areas. English, Filipino, and ngayon din, ma'am, yan, for the Department of Education, nasa process na din tayo when we do the integrative approach, where we integrate different learning competencies na kung halimbawa, say, subject-verb agreement, pwede naman siyang masali sa science, unti-unti natin ginagawa yan siya para mas lalo pang mapa-improve. Kaya nga po, we have this principle of continuous improvement. Pero alam naman natin, module making is not that simple. So it will give, meron po talaga tayong panahon yan to do that one. And it's on the process already. And parang last month nga lang po, all the public and private schools from junior high school and senior high school in Region 12 were trained on how to do integrative approach. Sige. So from here, the self-learning modules, video lessons, learning activity sheets, and lesson plans were developed by the school division offices. This was practiced last year. But for this school year, ang in charge po ng quarter 3 and 4 would be for the national office, while for the quarter 1, which is ongoing po kasi nag-start yung klase natin September 13 for the Department of Education. Then our private schools po within that particular frame or time frame din po sila ang gumawa naman po would be the region or regional offices po. Okay. So with all these learning resources now prepared and available, I think we are now ready for the new mode of delivery for our education. Of course, I would say, sir, how sure are you, sir, na effective siya? Of course, panahon po ng pandemya ito, this is a band-aid solution and at the same time, our solution to call of the Department of Education na although sa panahon tayo ng pandemic, pero ini-ensure pa din natin na effective and efficient po yung teaching, learning, delivery po natin, kaya nagkakaroon po tayo ng changes. Then ensure that all are implemented efficient and effective. And of course, nagpalabas din po tayo ng criteria which was DepEd Order 12, yung DepEd 13 and 17. It's about the IETF protocols and DepEd for the different learning modalities kasi kailangan po yan siya natin. Okay? So let's move on with these are the 3 different modalities and until now, ginagawa pa din po natin ito. Ma'am Yan, naririnig po ba ako pa?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Okay. Nawala kasi yung kwan ko dito sa cellphone. Buti na lang gumamit ako ng LAN. So presently, the Department of Education along with even all the schools for from kinder to tertiary, ito pa yung modalities na ina-apply natin. But for the medical field, as of now, I know approved na yung partial face-to-face ng mga medical courses and nasa process na din yung sa engineering and business na magkakaroon din ng partial face-to-face. I don't know for education kasi pwede pa man sa atin na distance learning muna, but eventually we will shift from distance learning, partial face-to-face, to definitely go back to the normal setting we're in. Learners would go back to the classrooms and they will have a physical teacher who will taught them the different competencies. So we will discuss, as I have mentioned earlier, our topic will be divided into 3 parts. The first part would be the issues of the different modalities. The second is the different modalities, our discussion on it. And the third is the emerging modality. Meron kasi siyang pang-apat na po na modality na kung saan ang Department of Education is gina-encourage siya na gagamitin natin. Okay, so for our online distance learning, we have 3 issues and concerns. For our modular distance learning, we also have 3 issues and concerns. For our TV radio-based instruction, we have 1 issue and concern. Okay, so let's move on with the first one, which is online learning. And of course, with each modality, we will try to check what would be the responsibility. Remember, if there would be right, kaagapay talaga yan ang responsibilidad. It is a right of every education as articulated in our Constitution na right po ng bata makapag-aral, but they have their responsibility also. So our responsibility will be divided into 3. Para naman, bakit ko ito sinali? Kasi I know when you go to the field, whether you will practice in the public or in the private schools, definitely, alam niyo na, meron na kayong idea on how to approach this type kasi although ang panalangin po natin matatapos tayo this December, balik na tayo sa normal this January, but hindi natin alam with this emerging different variants of COVID-19. So the responsibility will be divided into 3. We have the parent or the family, the teacher and the school, and at the same time, the LGU or the community. LGU, local government unit, including the barangay local government unit, community, including the non-government organizations, and the like po. Okay. Next, let's move on. So first one is the online distance learning. So the first issue, ito talaga yung issue natin. Siguro even for the tertiary education, meron din ganitong issue. The first issue is families do not have knowledge about ICT, And of course, the different processes of it, like creating email, social media accounts, and different online learning platforms. Future teachers or teachers, gusto ko lang pong ipaalam sa inyo niya, yung dinidiscuss po natin dito is yung problema po ng pamilya na nag-offer po or meron po silang opportunity na mag-online distance learning po na ino-offer po ng school. Just like for Coronadal Division, KCES 1 and Coronadal National Comprehensive High School is offering online distance learning po. And for South Cotabato, meron din tayong mga schools. I know Tampakan Sped Center and Pulumulok Central Elementary School and Poblacion Pulumulok, which I know Tino was your discussant also about research. Online din yung ginagamit nila. And ano naman yung problema? Ano naman, ito yung first na problem. So ano yung magiging strategy ni parent? Ito siya, perceived problems lang po ito. Hindi ko ibig sabihin na ito lang talaga ang pwedeng maging problema. So, of course, what would be the strategy of the family? You must inform the class advisor na hindi applicable ito sa inyo. Para makapag-adjust ang teacher na instead of online learning ang i-apply sa particular na bata, pwede niyang gawing modular na lang siya. And next, ano naman ang gagawin ng school prior to the opening of class and prior to the delivery of this particular online education? The school must have a training on how to have or how to implement online education. Ito pa pala, meron tayong problema kasi sa DO12 ng 2020 na mention doon na dapat si parent, ang account ni parent or si school ang gagawa ng account ng bata. Meron pa kaming nakita kasi Ma'am Dayan kasi when I do evaluate private schools and public schools, nagkakaroon ng ginasabi nila na gumagawa ng sariling account ang bata. Take note po, dapat legal age po ang gumagawa ng account. When you say legal age, that would be 18 up. Hindi po 17 below. Hindi po yan sila legal. So ano ang magiging remedy niyan? It's either si parent ang gagawa ng account, ng Google account, or si school ang gagawa ng account para po sa mga bata nila or sa mga learners nila. Kasi nakikita ko as early as grade 1, may sarili ng Google account. Hindi tayo nag-follow po sa mandate po legally po ng ating department. So ano naman yung magiging function ni LGU or ni community? So pwede tayo na pag meron tayong mga parents or di kayo mga tao na meron silang alam sa ICT, we could utilize them or ask them to help and assist our learners. In one particular, when I go to Sultan Kudarat, in one particular community, meron doong nagabantay siya ng online shop, nawalan siya ng trabaho, of course, kasi nga sirado yung mga online shop. Alam niyo ano pong ginawa ng barangay? Ginawa siyang parang job order, tapos meron silang online learning. Ang ginagawa niya po is twice a week, pumupunta po siya sa mga bahay ng mga bata and he would assist yung mga bata sa kanilang online learning. Diba? Yun siya yung mga initiative ng community. Okay, next issue. Ito yung na-mention kanina ni Ma'am Andrea when we describe the colors when this time of pandemic, intermittent and slow internet signal. I know lahat po tayo meron talagang problema na ganito. Kasi siguro ang service provider natin sa sobrang dami na natin na gumagamit, nagkakaroon talaga siya ng setback or whole when it comes to the signal distribution. So, ang pinakabana, select a service provider na maganda sa inyong lugar. I would say for Coronadal City, meron naman tayong service provider na PLDT. We also have Globe. We also have dito. Meron na bang dito sa atin? And of course, we also have Piso Wi-Fi. Pero na-experience ko ito sa Peso Wi-Fi naman doon sa lugar po namin, sa village po namin na pag morning ma'am yan, marami pong malakas po masyado. But pag mag-9, mag-start na ng alas 9 ng umaga until 12, ay nako, usad pagong. Kasi I know, gising na yung mga estudyante, especially yung nasa tertiary, nag-online class na din sila. So nag-aagawan kami ng signal. So ang pinakamaganda dyan, kung meron tayong medyo maalwan tayo or if we have enough resources, maganda talaga na magpalagay ng sariling internet connection. Pag hindi naman, then let's just adapt to the situation. And I know, I would like to commend also the RMMCMI kasi from medyo strict talaga sila na sa synchronous and asynchronous, parang nagkaroon tayo ng flexi learning na pwede nang ang bata is depende na sa panahon niya. Then meron lang talagang panahon na magkikita-kita ang mga bata through online, through kumustahan na lang siya. And of course, if financial capacity would warrant, a separate connection at home is the best solution for this particular issue and concern. So, ano naman yung magiging pwedeng gawin ni teacher? So, first is pwede niyang i-record yung synchronous online class niya na pwedeng ma-view ng bata pag meron na siyang connection or during asynchronous class para hindi naman na si teacher i-require niya talaga lahat ng mga bata na during synchronous class is andoon. Even for the iPad kasi 3 of my niece and my nieces and nephew is sa iPad sila nag-aaral. Mind you, hindi po nagagalit yung teacher kapag si parent nagsabi na, ma'am, wala po kaming signal ngayon. Then ang sasabihin lang ni teacher, sige ma'am, i-view nyo na lang po yung recorded na discussion. Parang ganun siya. We need to be flexible and we try to adapt what is practical and applicable in this time of pandemic. So the LG also could coordinate also for the installation of additional signal booster or transmission tower. Pwede din po yan siya. Just like with the KNCHS, alam ko po sa senior high school ng KNCHS, Wi-Fi free po ang full campus nila. You see? So pagbalik ng face-to-face, hayahay masyado ang mga senior high school learners ng KNCHS. Sige, next one. For the LGU, they could also pay for the installation of a faster and free Wi-Fi connection. In what's this one? In General Santos City, I know yung ano gani yun ma'am yan, yung park na harap ng City Hall. Anong park tawag doon?
Plaza General Santos, sir.
Oh, Plaza General Santos is also free Wi-Fi. Tama po ma'am. Pero paglabas ng mga estudyante ng Ramon Magsaysay, ng JFI, ng ano pang school doon, wala na. Bar down na ang internet connection. Kasi nga, ang dami-daming gumagamit. Okay. So next one, we have this third issue for our online. Issue pa lang ito, hindi pa natin pinag-uusapan ano yun siya yung online modality. So, families would like to choose online distance learning, but they do not have the gadget and the internet connectivity. So just like this week, hindi ito sa pamulitika ha, but the LGU of Coronadal City, I know, is nag-deliver po sila ng tablets for their senior high school. So I do hope yung iba pong LGU could also do that. And of course, depende po kasi yan sa budget. And meron pa gani doon na, meron pang aside sa Ateneo, they also give what's this one? Yung pocket Wi-Fi for that. And of course, sa Ramon Magsaysay, ang pinakamagandang nagawa din ng Ramon Magsaysay, even my stint there as a teacher is pinalakasan talaga nila ang Wi-Fi ng school. So kahit saang room ka pumunta sa Ramon Magsaysay, sobrang lakas ng signal. Kaya kami as teachers, hindi kami nahihirapan when it comes to our online learning. Yung last year pa yun siya, how much more ngayon? Nag-i-improve pa according to Ma'am Tintin, in-improve pa yung capacity ng internet capacity ng school. And of course, kung maganda yung internet capacity ng Marbel, how much more sa Jansa na mother school po ng Coronadal. So, ano pwede maging strategy natin sa issue number 3? So, pwede muna from modular, then we would shift paunti-unti to the online. Kasi nga, mas maganda naman, mas madali naman yung online kasi meron tayong discussion talaga with a real-time discussion with our teacher. Sige. So that is the responsibility of our parent. Okay, next. So for the school naman, ano yung magiging responsibility nila? We could establish partnership. Ito pala just a correction. We do not form or we do not use the word solicitation anymore when it comes to asking assistance to the different LGUs or the non-government organizations and other stakeholders. We use the word partnership. Kasi when you say partnership, it's a mutual relationship. Ibig sabihin, meron kang kukunin sa kanila and at the same time, meron ka ding ibibigay. That is what you call partnership. So, pag letter of solicitation, change that into letter of partnership. Meron kayong bagong nakuha ngayon. Then of course, for the LGU, to allocate budget. Ito po, alam ko po, almost all the local government units in South Cotabato, meron po talagang allocation. And ito po, this one, maganda kasi I don't know if you are familiar, but for the teachers of the Department of Education, meron po kaming 6 gig allocated sa amin monthly coming from the national office. So, pwedeng gamitin po yan siya namin. And of course, sa mga wala namang internet connection, pwede naman po sa school. Okay, now I think we are on the last part for our online. Let's have, what's this one? Ano ba ito? Okay, let's have an idea check. Okay, so in our idea check, may I know or kindly write in the chat box, what are your ideas when it comes to online learning? Sa issues muna tayo. What are your issues and concerns when it comes to online learning? Sige, pwede siguro nating magamit yung personal experience ninyo as a learner using online learning kasi I know for Jensen and Marbel, online learning yung ginagamit natin. Then meron lang manakanak ang gumagamit ng modular sa senior high school. Sige daw. Tingnan natin, kindly write in the chat box ano yung thoughts ninyo or problems ninyo na na-encountered based on your personal experience as a learner in online learning. Sige, tayo natin.
Sige po, hintayin natin sila. Parang mataas-taas po ata ang kanilang experience kasi wala nag-pop up po sa comment section.
Mga bata, walang tinod-anay ha. Just for wala ito, activity purposes. Pero you could share so that andito yung ating program director, directly sa kanya, Maria, ibigay natin. Pero of course, let's try to choose our words. Huwag naman yung harsh. Walang tinod-anay.
May mga answer na, sir.
Sige,
pero
Ma'am,
mostly ng problems nila is We have here si Sir Bernal Engelbert. Sabi niya, ang connection daw talaga ang problem niya. Si Moises naman na de la Cruz, ang sabi niya, sir, maraming distractions daw, sir, like poor internet connection. And also, sabi ng, ito yung pinakagusto ko na sinabi ng speaker ng mga bata na last week, si Sir Braga Fidel, ang sabi niya, madami daw extracurricular activities ang mga bata in the form of social medias and YouTube. Yan, problem daw po yan ni Moises. Kay Mecca naman, Hamela rin, sir, poor internet connection. Yes, this is true to all.
Yes.
Distraction sa bahay. Signal jud, sir, o pag-blackout tapos reporting unta.
Yes. Okay.
Ano pa ito? Meron pa. Unable internet connection, inadequacy of learning resources, sabi nila. Parang totohanan na ata ito. Na lang.
Parang hindi na to sa DepEd.
Parang sa amin na ata ito, sir.
Parang maninood na kamuhala kayo. But at least that would give us
po
an opportunity.
Yes. Distraction sa bahay, sir, since walang personal space for online class. Ano pa ba? Some of us are not able to submit our activities on time due to poor connection. Mostly poor connection talaga, sir, especially while having their examinations.
Okay. Actually, that is a major concern po talaga sa atin po na paganda yun siya kasi we have this idea check na yung gipresent ko kasi kanina na mga problems, those are perceived problems during our risk management system na pwede yun siya yung ma-foresee natin na problem. And yung mga gibigay nyo naman na problema ngayon which was being read by our program director, ito yung mga actual na problema which is aligned pa din doon sa na-identify na possible problems. Yung internet connection, yung maraming extracurricular activities, yung mga mga disruptions natin kasi nasa bahay lang tayo. Kaya nito pag 11:30 uutusan ka ng nanay mo na bumili doon sa tindahan, stuff like that. And also yung inadequacy, was that the term Ma'am Yan
Yes,
used?
ma'am. Inadequate learning materials. Yes,
okay. So ibig sabihin, we could also use that one, this particular comment, na ibig sabihin, aside from the materials given for the online, we could also use supplemental materials para naman po magamit natin. O yan, Ma'am Andrea, dalawa na kayo ni Ma'am Dayan. O, at least meron tayong direct feedback na agad. Of course, if that would be your problem, my next question is, di ba sabi ko nga kanina, you have the right to air your concern and issues, and now you have this responsibility. My next question for our idea check, ano naman yung actions ninyo on how you solve those particular problems? Sige daw, antayin daw natin.
Sige, sir. While we are waiting for their solutions, their problems.
Oo. Kala nila, Ma'am Dayan, pwede lang sila mag-air ng sakit sa buot nila. But of course, we will try to hear also ano naman yung mga strategies nila para po maibsan o di kaya malampasan yung mga problema na na-mention po nila.
Yes po. Well, we are waiting for their answers, sir. I'm just going to read the other answers from the students. Sabi nila, aside from fluctuating internet connection, lack of gadgets, sir, such as PCs and laptops is a problem also. Meron din pong issue when it comes to how engage the LGU to support the learning education in a specific area, the allocation and genuine encouragement from the people who can do more and also many more. So yun ang sabi niya. Medyo malalim po itong kay Miss Hazel, pero I could understand the feeling, sir, na di mapigay kung ano yung help na kailangan talaga. Budget ang kailangan daw. Ito ang pinaka medyo nataan ako, sir. Mobile Legends daw, sir.
Oh. See, wow, gusto ko yan. So, kung ba yan siya? Problema ba yan siya?
Problem, sir. According kay Sir Fidel, sir, that is a, siya, extracurricular activities.
Wow. Si Sir Fidel Braga?
Si Sir Braga, Sir
Sige.
Fidel, nag-talk
Participant.
lang po siya about discipline last week, sir, sa mga bata.
Okay.
Tapos, nasabi niya yun ba, hindi talaga siya mawala-wala sa isip ko kasi that is true.
Yes, sige. Ayan ang dami pala nating problema when it comes to online education based on your personal experience. Kasi alam ko po, marami po talaga to silang hugot, not just on their observation, but also their experiences as an online learner of Ramon Magsaysay, MI, and Jensen.
Meron na pong
Sige.
mga answers, sir. Sabi nila, provide training for using the ICT tools na i-deliver in the use of the online education. Meron din pong through the use of Messenger, inform their parents about activities, or assignments given to the pupils. Ito, wait lang. Borrow, wait lang, nawala siya, sir.
Borrow gadgets from cousins and
cousin
friends.
or friends.
Okay, ito na yung mga actions yata nila, Ma'am Yan. Ito
Yes
na
po.
yung mga nila strategies on how they fight back with those particular problems on online learning. And
Yes po.
I think doon naman sa mag-conduct ng online learning or training, nagawa na yan ng RMMC nagkaroon ng orientation both for the parents and the learners on how to use this particular learning management system. Kasi from Schoology, nag-change yata tayo from ano na ginagamit natin ngayon, Ma'am Andrea?
Open LMS po.
Okay, Open LMS. So, nagkaroon tayo ng kaibahan paggamit natin from Schoology to Open LMS, and isa yun sa mga strategy na nagkaroon talaga ng orientation kasi dalawa po sa tatlo sa pinsan ko are enrolled in RMMCMI, and doon sila sa bahay na naki-Wi-Fi, Ma'am Andrea. You see? So I think that's one of the strategy of the school. Meron pa ba, Ma'am Andrea, Ma'am Dayan, na strategy ng mga bata paano nila naibsan yung paghihirap nila sa online?
Meron pa po kay Daisy Andelig, magbaba poblasyon, ma'am, para makasignal din, makadata na para makapasok sa klase. #BukidFeels.
Wow! Tinunanay na gid ni ilahawa. Sige, of course, that's a particular scenario talaga. Kasi ito pa pala, pag mag-DepEd din kayo, normally, ma-assign talaga kayo una sa Bukid din para at least hindi na kayo madali, makuha na kayo. Sanay na kayo niyan. Sige, next, ano pa, Ma'am Andrea? Meron pa po bang iba? Or Ma'am Dayan?
Mangitag lugar nga may signal, sir, like mugawa sa balay from Iron. I don't know if I have pronounced the name correctly. Iron, Valencia.
Sige.
Makikonnect na lang sa silingan o Wi-Fi, sir.
Wow. Sana all mabait na silingan. Okay, so I think we are done with our idea check. Nakita na po natin ano yung mga problems na na-post po natin for online education. And at the same time, nakikita ko na din po na ginawa naman ang paraan ninyo. Kasi wala pong tutulong sa inyo, but of course, yourself. And binigyan na nga po tayo ng panahon ng ating mga parents na remember what I discussed earlier, tertiary education is a privilege. Hindi po lahat nakakatungtong sa kolehiyo, and we must be thankful on that. And our responsibility as a learner also, kahit mahirap, patuloy lang tayo kasi kakailanganin natin yan. Naghihirap nga ho yung mga professionals. How much more yung hindi pa po. So, ganun po tayo. Next, let's move on. I think, meron po ba, Ma'am Yan, na gusto mong basahin, Ma'am Yan, before we will move on with our next learning modality?
Meron dito, sir, pero not in their setup Pero yung
Yes po.
setup, if
Sige.
ever mapunta po sila sa DepEd, from Hazel Alvarez, DepEd representative for region or area should write and cooperate with their local LGU in fair and square. Present circumstances and present ways where LGU can support their financial resources or manpower. Like example daw is from Arizala School, they have para teachers given by the LGU. This is added manpower for
Yes po. Yes. A very good thing.
okay.
Wow. Kasi based on experience yan siya. Actually po, our DepEd, specifically on, kalimutan ko, it's DO32 series of 2020.
Mhm.
It discussed about learning support aids. It refers to nag-hire po ang DepEd mismo po with a salary grade equal to teacher 1 na kung
Mhm.
saan sila po ang nag-handle. They were just hired specifically in this time of pandemic po. And of course, the local government unit could also use that one kasi they have this what you call special education fund or SEF that they could use in order to utilize those one. Pero yung SEF naman po, hindi lang naman yan pang hire ng teachers. Pangbili din po ng materials, magpagawa ng mga buildings, and the like po. Thank you very much for that. Based on experience kasi siya. Okay, next let's move on with our next. Sige, let's move on with our next distance learning, which is modular distance learning. Issues pa lang tayo ha, ang dami ninyo ng concern. Pero matagal-tagal ito, Ma'am Andrea. So first is, the parents do not have time during daytime to assist our learners. This is true to all, especially for those parents who are working, whether they are working in the farm or in the offices or kahit ano pong trabaho nila, even simple household chores, yung paglalaba ng parents, mahirap talaga siya. So, ano po ang gagawin? So, pwede po nating turuan po o di kay ang mga bata na maging independent, and anyway, module could be done anytime of the day. Kaya nga po, before we have our, what's this one, opening of class, nagkaroon talaga tayo ng orientation sa parents. Okay, next one. Teka. Okay. Parents could also schedule tutorial after office hour or after nila makapagtrabaho, or they could do it during Saturday and Sunday. Kasi po, wala na po tayong fixed na schedule po. Baka sabihin nyo, sir, sa amin kasi sir, meron talagang fixed na schedule kung kailan yung retrieval and distribution of modules. Yes, meron po tayong schedule, pero flexible naman siya. Kaya noon, kami sa school particular, bago ako nagpa-regional office, we have a schedule na every Monday would be the distribution of modules, every Friday would be the retrieval, but we changed it. Ginawa namin, every first week of the month would be the distribution, every last week of the month would be the retrieval. Pwede po siyang ganon. Then kung medyo may resources po yung bahay natin or yung ating pamilya, we could also hire tutors for that particular problem, or instead of tutors, we could utilize our elder brothers and sisters. And of course, for our tertiary learners, hindi na siguro yan sila kailangan mag-hire ng tutor kasi independent learners naman yan sila. And for the school to have a regular home visits. Ito po na home visits, hindi po yung si teacher automatic pupunta sa bata, but they will just visit the homes, kukumustahin yung anong pangyayari within that particular home, and kukumustahin din yung ano yung mga nakita ng problema na na-arise po doon. Or another one, para po wala po talagang contact, pwede pong tumawag si teacher, or the other way around, pwedeng tumawag si learner or si parent sa kay teacher. Okay, next one. The school could also organize, eto na yung na-mention kanina, ma'am, in trains para teachers in the community to assist the learners. Meron tayong scenario nito sa Parents Teachers Association na yung mga parent leaders natin, they were given the opportunity na within that particular purok, sila ang ginawang parent leader na kung saan within that particular community lang para lesson na yung exposure natin, pumupunta sila sa mga bahay, especially sa mga parents na walang time o di kaya yung merong problema kasi elementary lang yung natapos nila, din yung mga bata nila nasa high school na. Of course, iba na yung approach. So, parent leaders talaga yung pumupunta at tinutulungan nila. Especially, meron ako napuntahan na school, ang reklamo would be for the MSEP, math, science. Yun talaga yung mga concerns ng iba natin na mga bata. And the next one is LGU and community can organize also collaboration para teachers. Yun nga po na-mention kanina na pwede ding mag-hire additional para teachers so that they could assist in the community, especially yung sa mga merong problema ng mga learners. Okay, second one, the learners do not have printed copies of SLM which they are supposed to accomplish in a week. So parang eto, hindi na to masyadong problema as of now kasi this is the second year of operation for modular distance learning and nakikita na po natin na in system na po, majority of the schools alam na po yung problema. Even the parents, kapag hindi nila makuha yung module, they would just request it sa kanilang kapitbahay or sa other communities. Ang barangay mismo nila, Ma'am Andrea, ang nag-distribute per purok po. Yung barangay vehicle kukuha sa school, din sila na mismo ang nag-distribute sa by purok. So mas madali na po yun siya. At hindi na po kailangan ni parent na pupunta talaga sa school. Especially yung, ano yung hashtag kanina, Ma'am? Bukid, ano yun siya, Ma'am Andrea?
Hashtag Bukid Feels.
Okay, hashtag Bukid Feels. Hindi na yun siya kasi i-deliver na mismo sa Bukid yung mga modules nila. And that is true to all in Region 12. And of course, across the country naman po, totoo naman po yun. Next, okay. The families, pwede din ang pamilya, pwede din na sila na mag-print ng own copy nila ng self-learning materials pero parang hindi ito common masyado sa atin no kasi nga resources-wise medyo malaki talaga ang mga on-cord na gastos. Then establish mechanism for distribution, alam na po yan nila ng mga parents natin kailan yung distribution, kailan yung retrieval, and meron talaga yung pinipermahan. Kumbaga merong kontrata yan yung si teacher at si parent na kailan niya kukunin, kailan niya binalik. Para at least matrack natin, makuha natin sino yung kumukuha ng modules at sino yung wala. And meron tayong case na pag hindi talaga kinukuha ng modules, I have interviewed a particular teacher in Kidapawan division kasi our Region 12 is divided into 8 divisions na po kasi Cotabato Province, Cotabato City Division is lumipat na sa BORM. Teacher talaga po ang nagadala ng module doon sa mga parents, doon sa mga bahay na hindi kumukuha ng modules. So, ibig sabihin, walang lusot si learner and the parent. Okay. The LGU should provide budget allocation or support as provision of printing. Ito no question ako sa LGU ng South Cotabato and Jensen kasi sobra-sobra po ang binibigay na nila na suporta. Kaya nga lang po, of course, with the bulk of the printing materials na kailangan po natin, nagkakaroon talaga ng shortage. Pero po, when it comes to support, you could say 500% po ang support ng ating local government unit. And meron pa tayong iba't ibang organizations na nagasuporta din. Okay. The third issue is eto. do not have educational background. I think this is true to all, whether it's modular or online, na yung meron tayong, hindi naman sa minamaliit natin, but of course we have this situation na yung anak niya is nakapag-high school, but yung si mama or papa are just elementary undergrad, hindi nakapag-graduate. So iba talaga. So ano yung pwede natin gawin? Of course, first is yung pamilya magsabi talaga sa school na, ma'am, nahihirapan ako ma'am kasi hindi po ako marunong magbasa at magsulat. Then, ano po yung pwedeng magandang gawin para alam ng school kung sino yung may in dire need of assistance. Then, kung ganito naman yung scenario, ang pinaka-best na nito is the family could just provide the needs of the learners, gaya ng recess. Diba? Meron pa gani ako na-interview na parents when I do the on-site validation in Sorala na nagsabi siya na mas magastos pa pala yung nasa bahay ang anak niya kasi every matapos daw yung module, naghihingi ng pang-recess. Pero pag sa school, of course, may panahon lang na pwedeng mag-recess ang bata, pero sa bahay nila, ubos daw parati yung pagkain nila. And hindi naman ito kailangan na magaling talaga yung parent. We could also just monitor or guide the learners with their schedule kasi meron po tayong tinatawag na weekly home schedule na pinapadala sa bata. Ito yung titingnan natin na ito yung sinusunod nila na particular po na schedule na dapat masunod within that particular week. So pwede yun po yung gawin natin as a family. Kasi alam ko po dito sa inyo, meron naman po tayong mga participants dito na parents na din po. Okay, next is we could connect with our neighbors or para maghingi ng tulong. And we could also use a TV or a video player at home so that learners could watch video lessons. These are supplemental lessons para kung halimbawa hindi klaro yung sa module, pwede namang through virtual presentation or video aid instruction, makikita nila, ganito pala gawin. And also, we could also train parents and family members on how they could effectively assist the learners. Alam ko po, nagagawa po ito ng mga schools, and we could have a scheduled community or home visit. Okay, ano naman yung responsibility ng school? Find time to connect with learners through phone calls or SLM, sabi kanina, sa Messenger or di kaya may Viber pa ba, Ma'am Andrea? Parang hindi ako, or Twitter? Meron pa bang ganun? Meron pa siya, pero for sa mga bukid fields, pero wala siguro mga ganyan. No? So definitely, phone call or backtas mode siya. And ito, na-mention also, the school could organize para teachers and the community. Provide learners with a copy of the video lessons. Sige, i-highlight natin yan mamaya during our third learning modality. And sa community, pwede din kung medyo malaki ang budget, we could provide TV or video player. Meron kaming scenario dito sa Tupi na yun siya, parang medyo, yan siya, medyo may kaya yung pamilya. They would, nag-set up sila ng TV sa garahe ng bahay nila. Doon nanonood, especially yung kinder to grade 3. Tapos meron lang time na gina-play niya yung video lessons po. Tapos doon nanonood yung mga bata. Then after that one, they would answer their module. So medyo mas augmented yung modular learning ng mga bata. And could also organize collaboration with the school. A team of parent teachers. Sige. Okay, now let's move on with our idea check. We have done this already with our online. Now let's check this one with our modular distance learning. Again, my first question for our idea check would be, what are your personal problems encountered, experience, or you have witness during within your community on the implementation of modular distance learning? Sige, tingnan natin. Kasi, kwan yun siya yung mga problema kanina nakita natin. Yun siya yung mga possible problems. Yung actual na problem kaya, ano kaya yung naging problema in the implementation of modular distance learning? Sige, pakisulat sa chat box.
May answers na po tayo, sir. May isa pong
Okay.
answer.
Sige, Ma'am Andre. Ano yung mga, eto siguro parang walang personal experience ang ating mga participants dito ngayon kasi online sila kanina, ang daming hugot nila. Siguro sa mga kapatid nila, hindi kayo sa mga kapitbahay nila. Sige, Ma'am Andre, go ahead please.
Meron po dito, I witnessed po na hindi yung learners ang nagsagot sa mga modules.
Aragoy.
Ayan.
Okay. Okay. That's reality, ma'am. Actually, nangyayari po talaga yan siya. Sige. Next, Ma'am Andrea, ano pa po yung mga nakita nila na problema?
Kay Sir Warren Neri, sa akong manghod po is yung mga larawan, hindi clear yung picture kasi white and black lang.
Okay. Sige.
Tapos, meron din tayo dito. Too many distractions and di nakakapag-focus sa module. Ayan. Meron din po ito, medyo unfortunate po ito, sir, from Henry Joe. Children whose parents are illiterate and nahihirapan to answer because there's no one to guide them.
Ayan. Isa
This
din
is
po
so
talaga
sad.
yan siya sa problema. Maliban na, parang dalawa yung gusto kong ma-highlight. Unang-una is, iba ang nagasagot sa module. Then second is, ang term talaga ni Kwan is, yes, we could use that illiterate. Ibig sabihin can be able to read and write yung parents nila. Then how much more can they assist with their learners or their children? So, mahirap talaga yun siya na mga scenario. And at least we are familiar, we have this personal experience talaga na meron talagang ganyan na mga scenario sa field. Ano po, Ma'am Andre, meron pa po ba?
The comments are mostly the same, sir. Yung dependent yung ating learners sa pag-answer either sa parents or sa siblings, and then yung clarity po ng module kasi minsan yung pictures daw po ay maliliit or blurry, and then black and white, so hindi clear po yung pictures. And of course, yung focus, hindi po siya extreme kasi they are distracted because of so many tasks or many events sa bahay.
Okay. So siguro I will answer yung hindi yung maganda yung yung quality ng printing materials. But as of now, with our new, yung second batch na natin for this quarter or first quarter, i-enhance na po natin yung mga colors natin, and at the same time, chinek na po natin that the samples and instructions, Ma'am Andrea, would fit po for black and white. Wala na yung mga tanong na alin dito ang hinog na mangga when in fact black and white yung picture.
Yes.
So of course, hindi talaga makikita na yellow yung dapat hinog na, sabi pa ng bata, bulok man teacher kay brown man siya. Kasi nga black and white. So inalis na po natin yung mga confusing po na mga instruction na mag-fit na siya. And doon naman po sa pagsagot po ng mga siblings o di kaya hindi yung mga learners mismo ang nagasagot, during orientation, it was properly emphasized na ang niloloko lang po talaga natin would be yung mga learners natin at ang sarili natin. Kasi just for me as a teacher, meron akong 45 learners. Of course, I could not monitor them one by one sa bahay nila. Kasi nga, because of limited face-to-face and limited, was this one, home visitation. So as a parent and as a teacher also, we really need to emphasize na kailangan talaga sila na mismo na parent ang magsabi sa bata nila na kayo ang sumagot. You will just be a guide and the side. Hindi pwede na kayo ang sasagot. Sige, with those following problems, sinagot ko na, ano naman yung naging strategies ninyo on how to answer those particular problems? Kasi nga, nagsabi na kayo ng problema, ano naman yung ginawa ninyo para masolusyonan yung mga problema?
Students, what were the solutions that you did based on the problems that you experienced? So far, continuous pa po yung sa problem, sir, no?
Hindi pa sila naka-move on sa
Oo.
problem. Part 1 pa lang tayo ng ating discussion. 3 parts pa yung discussion ko. Siguro masyadong mahaba. Sige po.
Okay. Meron pong answer dito mula kay Glynis Grace. Nag-chat daw po sila sa teachers. Then yung teachers po yung nagsisend ng copies ng module. Parang soft
Okay.
copy siguro, sir.
Yes po, soft copies. Okay, that's one thing.
Another po, sir, is voluntary teaching for students na yung parents po ay illiterate.
Okay, that's a good thing also, especially for you incoming graduates of Roman Magsaysay. You could also do that. Identify naman ninyo sinong pamilya yung medyo nahihiram. You could
Yes.
have that one. Kasi we have this what you call social responsibility also, not just as hindi lang hindi lang corporate responsibility yung sa mga companies, but as individuals, we have you called social responsibility also to assist those people who are in need. Okay.
Meron pa po dito, sir, from Eden Grayston Siong. Kami po, we tried serving as volunteers last month po for Brigada Pagbasa.
Oh, wow, that's a good thing. Yun na yung na-mention namin ni Ma'am Dayan kanina na isa talaga yung sige highlight ng Coronadal City, Ma'am Andrea, na nakipag-partner sila sa RMMCMI na for their Brigada Pagbasa. Okay, next let's move on to the last modality. The issue and concern is there is no TV or radio signal in the community. Of course, inform the class. Ito Ma'am Andrea, this will be applicable for Bukid Fields. Applicable po ito sa mga sa community, even for nasa sentro po, we have our Department of Education partner with Brigada News FM, yung different radio stations. Nakipag-partner din tayo sa yung Good News FM. Nakipag-partner tayo dito. And I believe every 3 p.m. in the afternoon to 5 or 4, meron po tayong radio program po para po sa kanila. And it's divided into different grades. Okay, so provide learners with printed copy of SLMs pag walang radio. Teachers will be deployed in different areas with a complete set of portable sound system. Yung have you seen a trumpet, Ma'am Andrea? Yung malaking trumpeta, then si teacher mismo nag-discuss siya sa purok. Parang, yes, nangyayari yan siya, Ma'am. We have seen in Bangoc, Ma'am, na gilagay sa gate kasi ang bahay ng mga particular learners nasa vicinity lang. Nag-discuss si teacher, ang trumpet nasa doon, parang meron silang program every day.
Yes.
Ganun siya ng mga strategy. Kasi nga, we all know na mahirap ang education this time of pandemic, pero hindi po tayo padadaig because we are part of the system and we need to be part of the solution. Okay, maximize the use of video lessons. So ito yung copy video lessons. Meron na ito na prepare. Later on, we will discuss this more as this is the emerging recommended fourth learning modality to be discussed. So community leaders or volunteers could distribute accomplished modules, partner donate. Meron na pong nag-donate po in Jensen, may nag-donate ang Transition Radio, even in South Cotabato, meron din po, and Sultan Kudarat, marami na din po yan. Okay. Siguro hindi na tayo dito masyado sa idea check kasi we all know walang for particular, what's this one? Sige daw, kahit dalawa lang ma'am dito ma'am. Anong problema nakikita niyo sa TV radio-based instruction as one of the learning modality? Kung meron po nagsagot yan ma'am Andrea. Kasi ito, actual scenario kasi talaga ito eh. Meron ba silang mga sagot, Ma'am Andrea? Naka-off ko yung audio natin, Ma'am.
Yan. Okay. Ang sagot po, sir, is very straightforward. Wala pong TV.
Wala tayong magagawa dyan. So, of course, if walang TV, ang pinaka-best na solution dyan is bumili ng TV. But of course, we need to inform our school kasi nga baka po ang school is meron kasi ibang school din Ma'am Andrea na yung maraming yung TV po mismo sa school is pinapahiram pero ang nag-handle po would be the purok leaders. Hindi po yung particular na bahay lang po Ma'am Andrea. Kasi baka magsunggod naman yung ibang bahay. Bakit sila lang ipahiram ng TV? Parehas mga kami learners. So, ginalagay sa purok leaders or sa purok chairperson, doon sila pinapatingin ng mga video lessons. Nangyayari po talaga yan. Okay, next, let's discuss the different learning modalities. Ito, madalian na lang po ito kasi ang importante talaga yung issues and concerns talaga because I know our teachers, future teachers are quite familiar with these learning modalities. So we have 3. Our first learning modality is online distance learning. And of course, this is with an aid of a computer, a tablet, a cell phone, with of course internet connection and using different online platforms. So normally po, pag ganito po, yung sa Ramon Magsaysay, ma'am, no, open learning management system na ang ginagamit natin. We do not use anymore the Schoology. So, naging flexible yung school. Maganda yun siya. Then, ito din, we also employ synchronous and asynchronous learning. I think our teachers are familiar with this. When you say synchronous, on time, real time, the teacher is discussing it. The students are listening on the other end. Kahit saan man silang banda ng banda sa Pilipinas. And when you say asynchronous, the lessons are recorded and they could just view it on their free time. Yun siya yung asynchronous learning. Okay, so asynchronous learning involves real time and it happens between the teacher and the learner using different online platforms such as Google Meet, Schoology, Moodle, ano pa ba yun, nakalimutan ko pa yun, and other learning management system or LMS. While the asynchronous, you could also use the LMS pero recorded naman siya. Kasi maganda dito especially for our Google Meet na pwede siyang ma-record until ilang oras, kaya niya 8 hours. When the teachers do not necessarily access the learning platform at the same time. Kapag pwedeng ma-access any time of the day. Okay, so ito yun siya yung allowable screen time for the DepEd. So for the keys, we have 3 different key stages. For the stage 1, 1 hour lang yan siya per day. For the stage 2, 2 to 3 hours. For the 3 and 4, that's junior high school na takpan siya. and senior high school, that's 4 hours po yan siya in one particular day. Kasi nga po, hindi po healthy talaga sa mga bata that they would stay within that day lang po na nakatutok sa screen. Especially using cell phones. Okay sa atin, Ma'am Andrea, because we have laptops, mas malaki yung font ng nakikita natin. But for our learners na nasa cellphone lang, masakit na po yun sa mata po nila. Okay, so these are the standard requirements. These are just requirements, pero pwede pong andyan, pwede pong wala, as long as kaya pong i-deliver ni teacher. Kasi we all know hindi naman lahat ng teacher are equipped talaga technically. Pero gaya ko, I am familiar, pero hindi talaga ako ganun ka-techy. But I use this one because this is part of the new normal. So the teachers must have a knowledge on how to use the internet. Kapag marunong kang gumamit ng Facebook, of course, marunong kang gumamit ng internet. And open educational resources, then know how to organize and facilitate using Microsoft Teams, Google Meet, Google Classroom, this one, Edmodo and Schoology, yung hindi ko na-mention kanina. And I know prior to the class, kailan nga po nag-start yung klase natin sa Ramon Magsaysay, Ma'am Andrea, for our first term?
If I'm not mistaken, August, second week, August 30 na sir?
Yes, ma'am. Parang ganun yun siya. And before that, nagkaroon tayo ng training. Tama po? It was conducted online. Lahat ng teachers are advised to join the training because, of course, you cannot teach what you do not have.
No.
Okay. Or you cannot teach what you do not know. That's definitely a mantra po talaga sa atin na teachers. Okay. For the teachers, you must also this one. I think PowerPoint, gaya ng ginagawa ko, dapat marunong talaga Excel and other similar software. Yung mga Canva, ano pa ba yung pwede nating magamit? Know how to edit video. Ito, medyo technical na ito. Have personal or issued laptop or desktop. Kasi kawawa naman si teacher kung cellphone gagamitin niya. But maganda sa Ramon Magsaysay, for those teachers who do not have a personal or issued laptop, nag-provide ng desktop sa office. So, wala tayong problema nito. Ibang usapan naman yung learners kasi hindi naman kaya ng school na i-provide ng desktop ang bawat bata. Hayahay kayo, meron
Pang
kayo.
Ateneo level na yan, sir.
Yes, pang Ateneo level na yun siya. And of course, ang kaya lang ng school is i-assist lang kayo to the best of their ability when it comes to your problems on online learning. And of course, you must have a good internet connection, either at home or in school. So, si guardian naman, same with the teacher, eto lang yung bantayan natin. Siguro, I will focus more on the last line. Have time to guide and assist the learner with his or her learning. Huwag po nating pababayaan, especially for kinder to senior high school, na siya lang po mag-isa ang online learning. Kasi na-mention kanina ni Ma'am Dayan, ano ganit yung na-game, Ma'am Andrea? Mobile Legends.
Mobile Legends.
Remember po, any type of a particular scenario wherein you cannot control yourself and you continuously doing it, that is addiction. So lahat po yan siya. Food addiction, sex addiction, gaming addiction po yan siya. So as learners and as teachers, we need to control ourselves. Hindi naman ibig sabihin na hindi na talaga maglaro. Kasi alam ko si Ma'am Andrea may game din ito na nilalaro. Myself is also have a game na nilalaro. But of course, you need to discipline yourself. Trabaho muna bago laro. Ganun po yung mga report muna, klase muna, assignment muna before anything else. Okay. Let's have this one. Okay. Okay. Crossroads natin when it comes to online education? Ano yung hindi klaro sa atin? Sige daw. As learners, eto, ano yung hindi klaro sa atin? Ano yung hindi nyo gusto sa online education or online learning? Tingnan natin sa chat box natin. Sige, kung merong magsagot, Ma'am Andrea, pakibasa na lang po.
Okay po, sir. Currently waiting for inputs. Question again, what are the crossroads when it comes to online education? Or what are the problems you encounter sa online education? Let's see some inputs here.
Ano yung hindi klaro pa sa inyo sa online education? Ano yung gusto nyong baguhin pa sa online education? Maganda ito kasi andyan si Ma'am Andrea as one of the teachers. Nakikinig din yan si Ma'am Dayan para diretsyon na sa kanila ang issue. Of course, kanina pag-usapan yung intermittent fasting. Ano pa yung hindi klaro sa inyo when it comes to online education? Ito yung crossroads. Because before we move forward to another learning modality, we need to try to, if not clarify or minimize your questions or clarifications when it comes to online education. Meron na po ba tayo, Ma'am?
As of now, sir, wala pa rin po. Pero I have read here, parang comment ko before, sabi ni Ma'am Rochelle Buangco, she feels sorry for digital immigrants or internet immigrants kasi marami sa atin, we're not born in the digital era. So mahirap mag-come up. May answer na po tayo, sir. It is really a test of patience, both the teachers and students, especially sa pag-deliver ng instructions.
Indeed.
But because of online obstacles, natatest po yung patience.
I totally agree. Yung ganadong-ganado na gusto si teacher mag-explain with all the hand gestures and the facial expressions. Last part, nakita niya pala sa offline na pala siya kasi wala yung internet niya.
Yes.
O di kaya yung mga estudyante niya. That's why when I do online class, I really, I really request, hindi naman siya mandate, request lang siya. I really request my students to open their camera kasi I don't know if you have tried this, Ma'am Andrea, na grabe ka na-explain, Ma'am Andrea. Last part pala, wala ka palang kausap kasi yung iba kumakain.
Yes.
Ang daming strategy ng mga bata. Alam natin yan siya.
Kasi at first, sir, leniency, diba? Considerations when it comes to dealing with them. So I allowed them, okay, at first, nung first week talaga ng prelim, okay, I let you allow to turn your cameras off para makapag-save kayo ng more data. Kasi I read na nakaka-save ng data. Kaso, the moment na you discuss na, sir, you know, yung mahirap you can see them physically. Tapos kapag nagtatawag ka naman for participation, wala namang sumasagot. So parang you feel like, ano ba ito, kausap ko laptop? Sino ba kausap ko?
Yes, definitely po. Kami po, when we do our online meetings, nire-request po talaga na i-on siya yung camera natin kasi minsan hindi mo alam, especially yung mga estudyante natin, mas matalino pa yan sa atin. While they are doing anything at the back, tayo naman, grabe nang explain with all the power and the emphasis ng the different learning competencies. Yun pala, isa lang ang nakikinig kasi the rest are doing things which are not related to learning. Ganun po talaga siya. But we do all. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead, please.
Meron pa answers. Ito, pero parang ang sad. Pabigla-bigla lang pong magsasend ng link ang teacher without prior info po.
Hello.
Medyo mahirap po kasi lalo at madami din ginagawa since nasa bahay lang tapos bigla magsasend po minsan hindi nakakapasok.
Okay, hello.
Sino yan?
Definitely, hindi ako yan.
Not me. Not me.
Ayan, Ma'am Dayan, ha. Narinig yun yan siya, Ma'am, ha. Crossroad po ng mga bata ninyo. Yung hindi po nila naintindihan sa online education, pabigla, pabugsong pag-ibig when it comes to link for online learning.
Sino yan? Kasi sabi natin ng teacher.
may nababasa rin pa akong complaint sa Facebook, sir, na may mga teachers daw na they post midnight, tapos like requirement na isend agad the morning after. And
ayan. Oh,
Ganon.
you see? Oh, crossroads din yan siya. Kaya
Yes.
actually, leniency. Let's try to
Yes.
practice.
Lenience talaga.
What's good for everyone? We should try to practice it. But nonetheless, we would also be strict and
Yes.
follow yung rules natin. Kasi alam ko
Mm.
naman po, prior sa start ng klase ninyo, nagkaroon kayo ng class orientation, ano yung mga rules and regulations ng class. Oo. Isunod din na natin, pero yung Ma'am Dayan ha, narinig yun Ma'am Dayan ha, bugsong pagbigay ng link. Hala ka, sino kaya yun? Si Tintin siguro yan ay.
Ano siguro sir, I could understand siguro yung pabugso-pugso pagbigay ng link if mga masteral students, graduate school students na ang mga
Yes.
bata. Pero
Yes.
kung sa undergrad, may specific dates naman siguro, just like sa MI, Monday, Wednesday, and one day, Tuesday, Wednesday lang ang synchronous.
Yes,
Pero
yes.
pag hindi makaklase ang teacher, nagbibigay, I make sure na nagbibigay ako personally ng sabi ko, class, we're going to meet on this specific date. So be prepared.
Oh, ganun siya dapat at least na lang man a day before. Schedule
Yes.
naman ng mga teachers natin. So, actually din nakita ko din sa pinalabas ni Sir Albert na random yung time good ma'am yung Monday to ganun. Ito lang yung asynchronous, ganitong days naman, ito yung asynchronous. Let's be lenient also to our learners kasi nga mahirap. Ito, based on experience talaga to Ma'am Andrea no, na pabugso. Then, meron din talagang teachers na mahilig og yung pabalhasan ang mga bata na okay, at 12 midnight submit this one.
Nako.
Feeling ko hindi yan si Ma'am Andrea kasi wala
Nako.
ako narinig na ganyan kay Ma'am Andrea kay parang 2 weeks before nakaset na yan yung mga activities
Yes.
niya. Okay, so I think we're done with the crossroads. We could move on with our next learning modality. Parang yun naman yun kanina. Kaya inuna ko po yung issue para wala na po silang masyadong maibigay na issue on the crossroad. Yun na lang pong mga comments nila and suggestions before we will move on to the next road leading us to modular distance learning. Of course, modular distance learning is self-learning, material-supported learning, wherein there is a need for an active participation of parents and other people. Other people would be parent leaders, para teachers, community leaders, and the like. Learning independently, yun nga po sana yung ating ino-observe. Pero kanina nakita natin na yung sa problema po is nagiging instead of learning independently, nagiging dependent learning na naman, na reverse na siya. And of course, it's a uniform class program kasi sabay-sabay kayong sasagot, pero you could do it also at your most convenient time. At ito pa yung siya na-mention kanina na dapat merong dagdag na material. So, aside from modules, supplemental learning materials talaga is needed. That's why ang Region 12 po nagpalabas ng regional memo na dapat wala pong librong maiiwan sa school. Lahat po is i-distribute sa mga bata kasi those will serve as their supplemental learning materials. Kasi baka kulang yung discussion sa module, they could check it alongside with the books para po mas mapadali po yung pagsagot nila. Okay. So these are the different parts and icons of the modular distance materials or module. Pero ito lang po siya, meron po itong pagbabago kasi nagkaroon tayo ng integrative approach. Yung iba po is gi-merge natin, but for the last year, ito po yung ginagamit natin and hindi naman po ito binawasan pero gi-merge lang po yung iba. So parts of the SLM, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, what I need to know or alamin, what I know or subukin, what's in or review, what's new or tuklasin. So the purpose is in order for us to identify the skills and competencies. What I know is to check the learner's knowledge. Kapag 100% correct ka na, pwede mo na itong, then drill. Of course, in the particular face-to-face classes, importante talaga na merong review or drill. just to connect the lesson from the previous lesson or engagement. And what's new? It's introduction of the lesson. What is it? It's the discussion of concepts and skills. What's more, it's independent practice. Bakit meron tayong answer key? Ito pa yung question ng iba. Sir, bakit merong answer key? Kasi nga, we do emphasize independent learning. Self-learning po tayo para ma-check natin agad-agad kung tama yung sagot natin. Ngunit ang problema, yung iba sobrang matalino, Ma'am Andrea and Ma'am Dayan. Una sila doon sa answer key bago doon sa activity. Talaga na naman mapo-perfect nila. But, mind you, yung ating pong module is recorded but not graded. Araw po yan. Then what I have learned is sa isip, open-ended questions or realizations. Ito parang gimerge na ito, gitanggal ito siya sa for kinder to grade 3. Then what I can do is sa gawa, transfer learning, or this is already your application. So ilang parts na? We have 4 plus another 4 plus 3. We have assessment, evaluation of the mastery of learning, additional activities or supplemental activities, either it's enrichment, pag mataas yung score, then for knowledge retention, and answer key. Answer to all modules. Sige, medyo minadalian ko ito kasi familiar po dito ang ating mga teachers. Now, dito tayo, Ma'am Andrea. Let's do another round for thinking time. Okay. First question. Tingnan natin, ma'am. How many parts are there in the SLM as per discussion?
Tingnan natin, sino na makakasagot? How
Sige.
many parts are there in the SLM?
Kung may nag-count kanina.
Still waiting for answers.
Hmm.
11. May sumagot po ng 11.
Okay,
Miss Janelle
yes.
Impang.
Janelle Impang.
Okay, that's 11. Very good. What's the meaning of this icon? I think it's an hourglass. Hourglass ba yun siya? Magnifying glass. Sorry. It's a magnifying glass. Sige. Tignan natin.
Tuklasin.
Okay, let's see. Tuklasin ba yan siya? Suriin.
Suriin.
Ayun. Wala, ma'am yan. Okay, how about this one? How about this icon? I think it's a hand holding a pencil or a pen.
Let's see. What is it? Or what I know? Ano ba ito?
Okay, wow, that's good one. What I know, or subukin in Filipino. Next, what part of the MDL will be recorded? So upon discussion natin ito sa assessment of learning, saan doon ang ire-record? Ala, siguro teacher ito si Ma'am Andrea kay taga-Sigal.
No, si Ma'am Conces po, sir.
Oh, sige.
Ayan na, eto na. Dito tayo po.
Sige daw, be. Tingnan natin kung gaano kagaling magturo ang ating summa cum laude.
Ayay, doon tayo ngayon.
But of course, kahit gaano kagaling ang teacher, pero nakadepende pa din po yan sa estudyante.
Sa estudyante talaga.
Sa estudyante talaga. Kasi kahit kami mag-tumbling na kami ng mga teachers dito, acrobatic na kami, kung kayo habang nag-online, nag-ML kayo, wala kaming magagawa. Kasi anong sagot nila?
May answers po sila, tayahin.
Wala pa. Ang correct answer.
Sige. Anong mga sagot nila, Ma'am Dayan and Ma'am Andrea?
Tayahin, assessments, and tayahin.
Okay, let's try to check. Okay, it's assessment.
Or
Ligtas from
sagot.
Dayan.
Ligtas. Very good, very
Okay,
good.
assessment. Next, this one. This I think this part is a little bit tricky. What part
Uh-uh.
of the ND modular distance learning will be graded? Saan dito ang graded? Remember, iba ang recorded sa graded.
Let's see. Let's wait for answers.
Baka may magsagot dyan ang answer key, ha? Kapakot yun.
May answers na po, additional activities. Karagdagang gawain.
Karagdagang gawain. Anong pa kaya? Meron pa kaya
Yes.
ibang sagot? Parang hindi sila, ayaw na nilang sumagot. Natatakot sila sa... Wala po ito.
Tapos may answer po, none.
Okay. Let's try to check. Definitely the answer is
Oh,
None.
very good. Very good yung sa nagsagot niyan. Kasi po, self-learning, independent learning po siya, may answer key na po yung ating modules. So wala po siyang bearing natin, but it will serve as an assessment and our activity po. Okay. Pero huwag niyo i-share sa kanila, hindi bitaw na i-record sa inyo, huwag niyo nang sagutin. Kayo talaga. Manyandra ba tayo? Okay. So standard requirements for modular and distance learning would be, of course, understanding of modular distance learning, organized people, familiar with the LR or learning resources portal for the DepEd, have personal or issued laptop kasi paano ka makaprint, no? Kung wala kang laptop, you need to prepare the class programs along with the names of the children, their contact number, and the like. Provide learners with this self-learning materials, the learning activity sheets, and the video lessons. Ang video lessons po is gawa na po. So wala na po tayong problema doon. Standard requirements, prepare the class master list, monitor the learner's progress, communicates and provides interventions, conduct summative tests. Okay, eto. This one is a little bit tricky po. This one is based on DO31 series of 2020. Last year, ma'am yan, nung nag-discuss tayo, ma'am yan, hindi pa ito lumabas yung DO31 series of 2020. But as of this school year, ini-implement na po natin ito. So DO31 series of 2020 is interim guidelines of assessment and grading in times of pandemic. So every quarter, how many quarters do we have in our school year? We have 4 quarters or 4 grading. So we have 4 summative tests. That is the ideal. Pwede pong lalagpas but hindi po kukulang sa 4. These are all recorded. And we have, aside from summative test, we have performance task. Our performance task is divided into 2. We have the performance-based and output-based. Sir, ano yung kaibahan ng performance-based and output-based? Of course, when you say perform, there must be a tangible or intangible na merong output ang bata. Pag performance-based, ito yung siyang sasayaw or magre-recite, yun siya yung performance-based, ire-record ng mga bata. When you say output-based, ito naman yung mga project-based na mga task. Gagawa ng letter or gagawa ng prose or those types of task, yun po yung output-based. So ito lang po yung recorded natin. Yung summative test na 4 and yung performance test na divided into 2. Either performance-based or output-based or project-based kung sa iba pa na tawagin. Okay. For parents, of course, kailangan natin magkaroon ng oras and designated home learning space. Lagyan naman natin ng space yung mga bata kung saan free from distraction, sana, and at the same time, kung nag-module, huwag sana siguro sila parating utusan. And cell phones kung kailangan talaga for communicating with teachers, and have a basic knowledge about self-learning modules. Kasi doon sa prior po sa distribution of modules, didiscuss din yung iba't ibang parts ng modules para familiar din po yung parents. Monitor his child daily learning activities, communicate regularly with the school or the teachers, submit learners' output, accomplish projects, SLMs, and the like. Okay, crossroads. Tingnan natin. Ano pa yung hindi klaro sa modular distance learning? Ano pa yung gusto nyong baguhin sa modular distance learning? Kasi actually, ito na po yung ating what's this one? Open forum in a part natin before we will move on to the next learning modality. Meron ba dyan, Ma'am Andrea, Ma'am Dayan, nakasulat? Ano pa po yung gusto nilang baguhin o di kaya suggestion on how we are going to improve our MDL?
Still finding answers to the question.
May answer na po from I'm Jonaliza Maulana. Dapat alisin po ang answer key po kasi ang mga parents and students po sa answer key na po nag-aasa.
Meron pa, sana mapalakihan ang mga letters or words.
Okay, those are our crossroads. Maganda yun siya na just to answer yung sana tanggalin yung answer key kasi po it's a principle of independent learning po yung MDL natin, modular distance learning. Para po direct na ma-check ng bata kung tama yung sagot, there must be an answer key on the last part. But it does not mean na baliktad siya. Answer key muna bago yung activity. Hindi po siya reverse na process. And at the same time, the modules will serve as your activity, but it will not be graded. So, may gagaw ka lang na it will be part of your assessment, but that will be formed as a formative assessment. Hindi po siya graded. So sir, wala palang kwenta ang module, sir. Of course, isa siya sa mga pinaka-importante. Kasi while you are answering, you are already practicing yourself cognitive learning experiences mo, nadi-develop na siya, and at the same time, nai-improve na yung critical thinking skills mo. And when you do the assessment or the summative assessment, alam mo na ang isasagot doon. Kasi baka magtaka kayo, sir, bakit hindi makita ang items sa module sa summative? Kasi nga, application na siya ng learning. It's similar, but they are quite different also. Meron pa ba, Ma'am Andrea?
Same lang po yung concerns nila, sir. Pero this was answered a while ago, yung about some blurred pictures na you were able to answer na yung related na, if ever may included na pictures, is practical na yung pagkakalagay nila.
Yes po, practical na siya na parang good na siya for black and white kasi nga doon meron pa tong instruction. I don't know kung module yun ng DepEd, pero definitely hindi yung module ng DepEd, Ma'am Andrea, na sa grade 1 na instruction, gumuhit ng mga what starts in between, gumuhit ng between ng naaagay sa numero. Meron doon 500 ka between Aragoy, tapos ang box maliit masyado. Parang hindi siya appropriate, pero na po yun siya. And eto pa po, teachers. Since you will become teachers, eto pa yung isa ko sa mga request ko sa atin. Kasi we are all teachers. My prayer will be that you will become professional teachers. If may questions kayo, when it comes to the teaching learning process, especially for the public and private institutions, huwag niyong dalhin sa social media,
Ah,
even for our radio stations, kasi they are not the proper person to
mm,
answer your queries and concerns. Even for sa ating sa thesis, sa lahat sa mga projects, huwag nating dalhin. Andyan ang teachers natin. Pag hindi nyo feel ang teachers natin, you could direct it your concerns or queries kay Ma'am Diane as the program director. Kasi sila yung appropriate na tao na sasagot ng inyong mga queries and questions. And they could provide concrete answers. Tama ba, Ma'am Dayan?
Yes.
Yes, agad siya. Kasi yung iba i-post agad sa social media, anong maitulong noon? Oo. They were,
Or,
yes, ano yan siya? Yes, mamurag-muragan ang school kasi nga nabalandra sa social media. But the question is, would that answer your question?
exactly.
Or you're just doing it because of your personal vendetta. So, ipa natin yan siya medyo, even for the DepEd, do not, what's this one, ay yung kasabihan sa Chinese na, Juan, do not bite the hand that feeds you. Same with, wag yung lagyan or tapunan ng putik ang kung saan yung institusyon na nagtuturo sa atin. Yes, hindi perfect po ang ating paaralan, but we could do better. We could become better sa pamamaraan na bigyan nyo ng maayos naman na communication yung ating management. So yun lang po even for the General Santos, yun din po yung gawin natin kasi mahilig talaga pag may mali, gani konti. Especially pag si teacher, wala na lang na-check konti, i-picture, i-post dahil sa social media.
Mm.
Hindi man yan sila makasagot. Social media could not answer our concerns. Okay. Thank you very much. Nagmisa na si Sir. Next.
Ito pa sir, meron po concern. Ang answer sheets, hindi na lang sa naisama sa backpage ng module, ihiwalay na lang siya pag-distribute para itago muna ng parents ang answer sheet. Then pagkatapos ng sagutan doon na ipakita.
Okay, that's a good question. But just like what I said earlier, we do practice independent learning, and at the same time, that's applicable lang itago ng parent for the elementary learners. But for the high school, si high school naman gakuha ng modules, hindi naman nila matago yan. Kasi para po madali na yan. Kasi we do practice also the metacognition process kung saan through the answers, napapagana natin yung pag-iisip natin, bakit mali yung sagot ko? Ano kaya dito? Bakit ganito yung sagot? Then you will not stop answering it until you get the correct answer, which is reflected on the answer key. Okay, next one. Let's go to TV radio-based instruction or RBI. So deliver the content using televisions or radio stations. Ito sa mga medyo may cable, sa Marble cable, it's channel 14 to 17. Meron doong about sa ALS, may sa elementary, may sa high school. Then use TV and radio broadcast kung available po siya. Radio scripts are developed alongside on the self-learning modules or materials. Learners will be provided with video lessons. Standard requirements, of course, si teacher dapat may list of TV and radio stations, knowledge of specific location kung saan maaabot. I think Brigada and other FM stations po, kayang-kaya niya po. Brigada, ano pa rin siya, Radyo Uno, baka mapagalitan. Ako Brigada lang din-mention ko, Ma'am Andrea. Yun lang kasi ang narinig ko kanina. Ano pa ba? Happy FM. Of course, meron na sila din. Keep records of learners that watch, listen to the radio broadcast. And eto po wala pong stand-alone na RBI lang siya. Kaakibat po ni radio-based instruction si module. Meron po talagang sasagutan na module. Have knowledge or reach of the TV or radio broadcast. Si TV naman, si parents naman, same, merong panahon talaga na mag-assist sa mga bata. Okay, next one. Basic knowledge of the SLM, same with the other learning modalities. Next one, ano naman yung crossroad natin when it comes to RBI? Ano kaya yung pwedeng baguhin natin? Sige daw, since future teachers kayo and maybe some of you will become this Jack DJ. Ako ba yun siya? Disc Jack DJ, mga ganun po. Baka mayroon dito maging Brigada Bing or Brigada 14 or si Happy FM, sino nga yung madaldal na pinapakinggan ko every morning. Ano naman yung crossroad natin sa TV or radio-based instruction? Maliban yun sa mga problems kanina, ano yung pwedeng ma-improve pa kaya natin? Meron
So
ba, ma'am?
so far wala pa pong sumasagot, sir.
Okay, kasi hindi sila dito familiar masyado kasi pag they are much more with online and module. Ito
May
kasi ayos,
may
ma'am.
answer po, sir.
Sige,
Sabi
go ahead.
niya ni Lloyd, some areas mahina maglagap ng frequency kaya pili lang ang station na napapakinggan.
Yes po. Yun din po yung isa sa mga concern natin. Kaya nga po, hindi stand-alone ang TV or RBI. Meron talaga siyang kasamang module. Kasi pag hindi applicable na ang, parang supplemental materials lang siya, but it could also be considered as a learning modality. Kasi meron talaga po, especially sa sa Lake Cebu, yung sa mataas na, very applicable po ang TV, ang radio-based instruction. Meron ganing mga schools, Ma'am Andrea, na they created their own radio stations. Landan National High School has this radio station, Ma'am Andrea, na teachers na mismo po, for example, sa Monday, si grade 7 teacher. Sa Tuesday, si grade 8 teacher until senior high school. So, sa gagabayan yung mga bata with their modules po. Okay, this one. I think this is new. This is new for the Department of Education. This is not yet a learning modality, but it is being encouraged as of now. This digitalization in education, or in other terms, digitalization in education. Bakit kaya ito ini-encourage naman siya? Or digitization in other nakasulat po sa ibang resources po natin. So ito yung bago pong ibinigay po ng Department of Education. Ay hindi to siya mandatory po, pero it is encouraged. So when you say encourage, pwede pong gamitin alongside with the 3 learning modalities. First, SLM digitization. Bakit maganda ito siya? Because modules can be used any time of the day. Ang catch lang nito, you need to have cellphone, a tablet, and a laptop. You need to have a USB or universal port. And kung may USB ka, kung wala kang laptop, you need to have yung TV, ma'am, na pwedeng lagyan ng USB, anong tawag doon?
Portable DVD.
Anong tawag, Ma'am Andrea, ma'am yan?
Portable DVD player ba yun, sir?
Oh, yes, you could use portable DVD. Yung sa TV, good, ma'am, na pwedeng diretsoan. Diretso na yung USB. Yung mga flat screen na ngayon, hindi yung mga sang-un.
LCD?
Yes. LED TV po.
LED pala.
LED TV po. Hindi na yun pwede yung mga bugat ka isang unang murag na apay, isa kabalay na ang TV. Hindi yun siya applicable sa ganitong process po. So, flexible time, you could use it anytime, kahit saan ka, even while you're doing your chores, manglaba ka, manghugas ka, you could use this one. May laptop ka lang or may cellphone ka lang, you could also play. Kasi yung digitization, including na also yung video lessons po natin. Okay. Sir, pag ganito ba, sir, wala na pong module? Same, meron pa pong module na sasagutan. Or pwede din na sasagot ka directly on the laptop. Okay. Benefits of digitization, save school resources. Alam po natin, mas malaki po talaga ang ma-incur na gastos po kapag printing modules siya. Then at the same time, we could also avoid overcrowding in the school kasi nga pag ang learners natin would opted for digitization, pwedeng ibigay na ng school na isang quarter mismo kung kaya ng ano yun, siya, storage device nila, or pwedeng good for 1 month ibibigay na sa bata yung files po at doon na sila sasagot mismo. And ibig sabihin, once a month na lang sila pupunta sa school. Or if they don't want to go to school, meron naman din tayong mga allocated po areas na kung saan doon sila pwedeng maghingi po ng digital copies. Ito po yung online copies. So, online copies, definitely these are asynchronous copies. So, pwede mo siyang gawin before ka matulog, or kung gusto ka, meron kang balikan, you just open your cellphone, then tingnan mo lang doon ano yung discussion ng inyong teacher with your lesson. And easy distribution and retrieval also of modules. Kasi pag you have your internet connection with you, you can send it online. Yun yung maganda. Okay, next. So the process of digitization. First is online platform. Modules are available online. So, alam naman natin siguro yung Google Drive. Siguro, alam ko, pinapractice ito ng ating school na kung saan class, you could get our lesson or video lesson from this type or Google Drive. You could just visit it. So, ganun din yung digitization. Pwede din doon siya. Sir, anong kaibahan nila ng online learning? Kasi sa online learning, merong asynchronous and asynchronous, while the digitization, lahat na po andoon na po sa file. Doon na po sasagot, then pwede na lang po kayong mag-ask sa teacher kung meron po kayong clarifications. Sa offline platform naman, you could use flash drives, smartphones, etc. para po mas-save. Kung halimbawa, sir, konti lang kasi yung storage capacity ng aking cellphone. Pwede ba na per week lang ako magkuha? Walang problema doon. You could upload the different file on your phone, then you could answer it through your phone, and you could send it back to your teacher without without the modules already and the like. Sir, is this applicable, sir, for assessment? Kung natin yung summative test? Yes, it is applicable also. But of course, maglilimit yan si teacher. Meron tayong mga learning management system o di kaya mga system in the computer na merong time allotment, na good for 1 hour lang siya. Then meron din tayo, may nakita ako na system na pag gagamitin mo yun siya, you cannot open other, what's this one? You cannot open other search engines such as Google. Bright ba mga bata ngayon? I know lahat kayo, halos ang kapatid na at uncle, si Uncle Google na. And you could access the digitization could be accessed also via your teacher advisor. Pwedeng sa teacher niya, pwedeng isend niya sa inyo through messenger. Pwede din yan siya. Isend niya sa messenger, i-upload niyo siya, doon kayo sasagot. I-enable niyo lang yung enable niyo lang yung para makapagsagot kayo. And meron din tayong self-learning materials desktop center, kung saan merong ito nakakita ako from Cotabato Province. Sa barangay nila merong isang ganito na si barangay secretary pag ang nagabigay ng digital copies para sa mga bata. So no need to go to the school, especially kung ano yung Bukid Feels na hashtag ng isa nating participant. Okay, that's the process of digitization. So this is the emerging learning modality that is being recommended nowadays. Para nga to serve resources, to save time, and at the same time, mas mapabilis po kasi pwede siyang available sa online, available din siya on-site. Okay? And I think that would be for, what would be the crossroads for digitization? Sige daw, sa inyo. Ano yung magiging crossroad niya? Ano yung magiging setback niya or loopholes when we practice digitization. Siguro normally we would still say availability of laptops, tablets, those alike. So feeling ko naman, what's this one? Na-release na po yung, ano ganiin Ma'am Andre, yung binibigay ng CHED sa mga estudyante natin ngayon, Ma'am Andrea? Yung 30,000, Ma'am, ano gani yun?
Unifast.
Unifast. Oh, bili na kayo na agad ng laptop kasi yung iba nakikita ko pag kuha ng Unifast, iba-iba yung binibili. So, most importantly, especially nowadays, before laptop is just a, ano yun siya tawag, Ma'am Andrea? Parang you may have it or, but today
Optional.
it is optional, but today it is a necessity also. It is
Yes.
a need. Hindi na siya pwede na you can have it, you may or may not have it. But as of today, kailangan na talaga siya. Okay. Sige, meron bang crossroads, Ma'am Andrea? Kasi hindi ito masyado na-practice sa RMMCMA yung digitization eh. Na-practice ito sa DepEd. Pero optional siya. Yung iba pwedeng gumamit, yung iba hindi. Pwedeng hindi nila gamitin ito. Meron ba, Ma'am?
Meron isa, sir,
Sige.
from Raylan. Yun po, ang sabi niya is, hindi daw po affordable lahat. Not
Yes.
affordable tanan.
Yes, ganun lang talaga yan siya. That's why I would strongly recommend talaga na tapusin ninyo yung pag-aaral ninyo just like I, Ma'am Dayan, and Ma'am Andrea, we are all professional teachers and we could afford to buy our own laptops kasi nakapagtapos kami at nakapag-aral kami at meron kaming magagandang trabaho. I'm not saying na ang walang trabaho hindi maka-afford. Hindi talaga. Kasi nga, walang source. You could also outsource na mag-business tayo. Pero maganda po talaga na merong pinag-aralan tayo because we could use it as our edge with the different ano yan siya, system natin ngayon. And ang competition ngayon, very tight talaga. Kahit sa ang aspeto ng buhay. And one of our edge would be our education. And one of our edge also is that we will invest to our future. And the best investment could be buying a laptop. Kasi when you apply, kung sirado pa pala next year ang mga internet cafe, paano ka makaprint ng iyong application letter, ng iyong curriculum vitae, yung iyong mga ganon, profile mo, and then wala. Then, one good thing also is you could also buy printer para sa sarili mo so that you could use it. Then, pwede ka rin mag-offer ng printing business later on. Mga ganon na mga natin. Kaya nga po, baka po magsabi kayo nga, yung aming speaker, bagikon, giniling niya may digitization. Yes, it is recommended, but not a compulsory po sa lahat. Kung sino lang po ang willing, sino lang po ang merong available na gadgets, kung sino lang po ang mas madadalian na hindi na sila magpunta sa school because they could get the materials online. Okay, meron pa ba, Ma'am Andrea?
Another, sir, from Fanny Cabante, yung site po minsan nag-crash.
Yes, ganun din lang po siya. It's either two-way kasi yan. It's either yung system, yung internet mo is mahina o di kaya yung internet ng the other side is mahina. Refresh lang natin. Sanay naman tayo, di ba? We discussed kanina, patience is a virtue. O, ganun siya. So, practice lang natin. Then, pag meron talagang ganyan na problema, you could address your concern to your teacher para magawa ng paraan. Kasi nga, baka sira na talaga yung file talaga na you're trying to access. Okay, meron pa ba, Ma'am Andrea?
Let's see. Same pa rin po mostly, hindi affordable or security reasons, even data management, yung data connection po. So
Okay.
it all boils down to resources po, yung lack of
Okay, okay.
resources talaga.
Parang mahirapan kami ni Ma'am Andrea sagutin pag resources na ang pag-uusapan kasi
Exactly.
kahit kami din, meron din kaming limited resources but nonetheless, parti po tayo ng kagawaran ng edukasyon and whether you will opted to teach or you will go to other professions kasi education courses is not exclusive for education lang po na institutions. You could go to other agencies, mga Bureau of and the like. Kailangan pa din po natin ang technology alongside with our competence na tinatawag. So dapat po marry po talaga, mag-asawa po talaga yan. We need to be competent with our profession and at the same time, this time of pandemic in the future, we need to be competent in terms of technology.
Yes. And to consider na they are 21st century teachers and they will be teaching students that are born in the digital era na mas
Yes.
magaling pang mag-navigate ng internet kaysa kanila.
Yes, because remember, 2000 up learners are considered already Generation Z. They are not millennials already, Generation Z. And dito nabuhay sila na meron ng Facebook. Even 3 years old, then meron nabuhay din sila na meron ng TikTok and mga etc. etc. So, as teachers, kailangan talaga natin mindful na talaga tayo and especially yung for digital world na kasi tayo. And even mawala man itong pandemic, definitely these types of meeting, etong types of conferences, hindi na ito mawawala. This type of online learning, andito na talaga yan siya. Mas na-heighten lang natin during the pandemic time. Okay? So I think I have consumed at least to medyo mahaba-haba din yung ating discussions. And I will be leaving you with this particular slide. Unless you have questions or clarifications, then that would be all. And once again, I am Nathaniel F. Bangoc from the Quality Assurance Division of Region 12. Baka meron kayong questions or clarifications, sige po. We will try to answer it. Anyway, andyan man si Ma'am Dayan and si Ma'am Andrea. Kung meron pa po tayong hindi na-touch during our crossroads and during our idea check.
Okay. To our attendees or virtual audience, if you have questions for Sir Bangoc's webinar, you can now type your questions in the comment section and we will entertain it one by one. I think, sir, no, your webinar is very informative and even the questions are answered naman in a formative
Yes, ma'am.
manner
Actually,
along the way.
style ko yun, ma'am, para during open forum, wala na silang tanong.
Yes.
Kasi crossroads and at the same time, the idea check, na-check na po yung mga concerns nila. Pero baka meron pa silang tinatago-tago dyan. Mahirapan tayong sumagot. Sige, go ahead, please.
So far, none so far. We are flooded with words of thanks for you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much also for this opportunity, Ma'am Dayan and Ma'am Andrea, along with the RMMCMI and along with Jensen also for giving me the opportunity. I miss doing this type of things also.
Ayan.
Yeah.
We are still flooded with words of gratefulness. Thank you daw po. Galing niyo daw po, sir. Thank you po.
Oh,
Of
sige.
course, Sister Nate pa ba?
Sige. Wala tayong magagawa kasi part yan tayo ng Department of Education and we do practice that one.
Yes. Ma'am Conce, shall we now proceed with the awarding of the certificate? Okay, so once again, thank you very much, Sir Nathaniel Bangoc, for such a very insightful and practical information regarding different types of learning modalities that they may encounter when they become professional teachers in the future. And I hope that our attendees, especially these graduating students, have learned a lot and that they can apply these learnings when they become teachers in the future. Now, let me have the honor to read the contents of the certificate that will be awarded to our guest speaker. Raman Magsaysay Memorial Colleges Marbel Incorporated, Purok Waling-Waling, Arilan Street, Barangay Zone 2, Coronadal City. Certificate of Appreciation is awarded to Sir Nathaniel F. Bangoc II for rendering his time, effort, and passion and sharing his expertise in the webinar on learning delivery modalities of the Department of Education, aired in South Cotabato, Philippines. Given this first day of October 2021 at Coronadal City, South Cotabato, Philippines. Signed by Dr. Johnny S. Bandulo, Program Director of the College of Teacher Education. Once again, along as I represent the College of Teacher Education, thank you very much, Sir Nathaniel, for spending your precious time with us and informing us about the learning modalities in the Department of Education.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Andrea, Ma'am Dayan, for giving also me this opportunity po. Maraming salamat po. Akala ko kasali pa ang pusa, Ma'am Andrea. Oo, akala ko kasali pa ang pusa sa certificate, sa ibibigay.
So, ayan po. Thank you very much.
Naka-off po yung audio niyo, Ma'am.
Ayan, okay.
Na-off na po
On
ako. Okay.
Audio.
Will we be having our recap, Ma'am Conces?
Yes, so hello everyone. I hope everybody is still on track. So, i-compare po natin, Sir Nate, huwag ka po muna mag-alis ha. I-compare natin sa ating activity last week. Our recap for this day is through a online game. I have prepared an online game based from the presentation of Sir Nathaniel. So that's just a 10-item knowledge-based items. So I hope everybody will participate, and it will just be open for a matter of 12 minutes. And I'm going to close it at exactly 11:20. Ayan. So this is the link, quiz is linked. I'm going to share it to the comment section. Tapos ipin ko, you're just going to click it or highlight it or sa GCs ninyo para mas madali. For a while. Yan. Share natin yung ating quizzes so that everybody will have. Another thing is that if you're going to join the quiz, make sure that you are going to use your name. Full name niyo po talaga ha, para mas madali po ang checking natin sa ating wala. For a while. Ayan. Sige. I have already posted it and pinned it in the comment section of the YouTube Live. Please check it out para makita niyo po. Please tell me if you have already the link so that you could start playing already. And I'm still waiting for participants to enter. Sige, ano kaya ang mangyayari sa kanila dito? I've already posted on the comment section the link. Sige, please play. I'm still waiting for participants to join. Ayan, sige. Please use your full name. Ayan, you're starting already. You may now start. Please use your full name, just like what Ma'am Andrea has done. Yeah, let us check. I'm still waiting for everybody. Ayan, parang madami tayong players. Sige. Please click yung classic na theme para madala-diretso po tayo. Hindi niyo siya malaro. Please tell me in the comment section if hindi niyo malaro ha, so that I could change the link. Wala pa ako ka-start. Sige, change natin ang link. I'm going to change the link, everyone. Remove ko muna, Ma'am Andrea. Ayan. And I have sent another link, Ma'am Andrea. Please check it out po. Sige, check natin if makapasok. Tapos, join my quiz. Tapos, ayan. Mag-start na po tayo maglaro. Okay. How? Why? Is it? How can you play it? Hindi siya mag-play sa akin.
Nothing is coming out on my end, ma'am.
Same. It is not responding on my end.
Loading pa siya.
Here. Here. Sorry. My mistake. Ayan. Loading siya. Hindi ako sa laro. I could not play on my end. How is that? Oh well, let's leave that. Same on my end, I could not play. We're already 143 and I could not play. Why? Sige. I'm just going to leave or send to you the link para malaman ko kung sino yung manalo. This is just a summary of the activities ni Sir ninyo. There was just a short technical errors on my end. And I'm sorry for that. Sige. Let's continue. Ma'am Andrea.
Yes po, ma'am. So we will proceed with the reminders, ma'am.
Okay. So for everybody, to those who have won, kanina po, the webinar series, episode webinar natin kanina na una, we have Sir Rubia and Miss Dimayuga. I wanted you to comment or message me your full name, your contact number, and your service provider. Tandaan, your full name, contact number, and your service provider sa number na 0935-697-8993. Okay? So, ano isi-send? Full name, contact number, your service provider. Please send it to this number 0935-697-8113. And I also wanted to give applause to the following students. Ito po. We have here Melencio Justin Dalanag, Charwin Enriquez, Moises de la Cruz, Raymar Gabor, Jonas Maravilla, Marian Cabra, Dakigan, Jonaliza Maulana, Salvan, and Pagunsan. Please also send your full name, your contact number, and your service provider to the number that I have given, because I'm going to give you short or small gift of thanks for the participation at the very first part of the program. And to the following students, please also send your numbers and your contact number, your name, contact number, and your service provider to the number that I have also sent para po sa inyong prize, 50 pesos worth of load. Yung nag-participate kanina, that's a separate load. So please text na lang po ako. We have Andoy, Alvarez, Calio, Gulanday, and De La Cruz. Then we have here Kenji Kaligdog, Impang, Cachero, Zendi. I don't know what is your family name here. And also Miss Glines Grace. Take note, please send the following details: full number, contact number, full name, contact number, and service provider. And please send it to my number, 0935-6978-1130. Please po, huwag niyo pong sabihin na, ma'am, ako po yung nanalo kasi tapos hindi po ako magpakilala sa akin. Huwag niyo po ako i-text me kasi hindi po ako magre-reply. Yun lang po. Thank you very much, everybody, for attending our second part of the webinar. Do not forget to post your selfies para ma-recognize on our next webinar, next and final part of our webinar on the 15th of October. Thank you very much, everyone. Sir Nate, thank you. Ma'am Andrea.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much once again. Thank you so much to our guest speaker for episode 2 of FS webinar series, Sir Nathaniel Bangoc. And of course, thank you very much for the participation of our students, of our graduating students, and we will see each other again in the last and final episode of our FS webinar series. This is Andrea Meiji Dalangon. Thank you very much, everyone, and see you again next time.